And we're back, everybody. Like I said, I told you guys to take the rest of the night off, and here we are. So the night is over. I said it's over now. We're back with more because I can't get off the topic of the shooter is still at large. Like we're still in that. It's not over. I thought we'd have an update for sure. Like, hey, we got the shooter by now. We have none of that. Actually, we have the opposite. He's still out there. And you have a correction from Cash Patel that came in just before 6 p.m. or just before 7 p.m. Central Time, updating that he had said 4 hours ago that the subject of the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide updates when able to. And then you got him going. The subject in custody has been released after interrogation by law enforcement. So was he referring to the old guy that was already released hours before, and then they posted saying that we got the old guy? I'm just going to refer to him as the old guy. I don't need to say his name because he's not the suspect, and I don't want to draw attention to somebody that is not guilty of anything. So I'm just going to refer to him as that. Is that what Cash Patel was referring to here? And then he corrected himself hours later? Like, what is actually going on? You know what I mean? What is actually happening? I kind of was seeing it in my chat earlier when a lot of the people that were pretty sold on a narrative as to what happened to Charlie Kirk, and I was trying to investigate it a little bit with the Google Earth, look at the sight lines and where a shooter could even potentially be, and then we get nothing. We've got nothing from that. We've gotten some video that shows a shooter on the rooftop. Did I bookmark that or did I retweet it? I think I just reposted it. I just reposted it. Let me pull it up here. Sorry for the fast scrolling. All right, so there's one. So here's one of them. There's two of them. There's one from this angle and another from the sidewalk. Right after it happened, you can see the shooter standing right there. You can see the shooter on the rooftop. That's what that little hash mark looking thing is. It's a person just getting up from the shooting position and running away. Going left, it looks like. Well, it would be their right, our left. So they're running to the left. What's that way on the Google Earth? Yeah, it is. But there's how does Charlie Kirk have his own security team? Had the law enforcement there. What is the escape? Where's the escape from up here? So he ran leftward. Like he went in this direction. Here's where the shooter was. Shooter was here. And then shooter went this way, as from the video. Down. Where are they going to? And they looked like honestly, it looked like they left the weapon there. You know, it's far away, but they don't look like they're carrying a rifle in there. They're like running. Could have the rifle, you just can't see it because it's so small. They're so far away. There's so many more questions and answers we have here. People were literally immediately sold into their narrative. And I think, that is where I'm at with it. All right. I'm about finding out who shot him. And if you're not about that, then you're not in the right mindset. Okay, you should be about who killed him. Because we have nothing on that. We found out shooters so fast in the same news stream usually. Same stream. We're like, okay, got a news conference. We don't have any information at this time. And then literally a half hour after, they're like, we got him. Almost most of the time. Two people, earlier suspects in Charlie Kirk's killing, are not tied to the shooting and were released. So this was just put out 8 minutes ago. So news is still coming in. Two people who were considered suspects in the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk were later released as neither have current ties to the shooting. One person was already charged with obstructing university police. I think that was the old guy, as they previously announced during a news conference, but the department didn't say why either person was considered a suspect. There is an ongoing investigation and manhunt for the shooter. They're still under a manhunt. Nothing. Are any of the people that were sold in their narrative today as to who the shooter was even posting like, hey, the manhunt's still going. We don't know who the shooter is, or if they stopped. Are they done? They're done, I guess, huh? All of the influencers. Dude, like, let me just play at full speed. It's so hard. It's so hard. You can see it moving though up there. Watch. You gotta watch up here. You gotta literally like pinpoint it. I'm trying to tell you where it's at. Right from here. Look right here, and then this figure is gonna run left onto the screen. Where is did they recover the rifle? Here's another angle. The only two angles we've seen of like the actual shooter on the roof.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying.
Huh.
He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in.
Oh, so he saw him run to that spot, and that's why he started recording.
Finger. Whoa. From over there, ran in.
No, that was in Charlie Kirk's security detail.
Just saying. Just.
So there's nothing. I mean, it's the amount, like I said earlier, the amount of skill required into that shot and pulling that off, and then where Charlie Kirk was killed, like in the specific spot on his neck, to guarantee he died very like right there. Like there's a level of professionalism to that shot that was taken. I'm not trying to say that in any other way other than like the shooter needed to have the ability to do that, and it's not a natural thing to shoot and do that. Nobody can do that unless you train. You think you can till you grab a rifle and try to do it, and then you miss. Everyone thinks they can. Oh yeah, you just got to point and aim and shoot. No, you don't. And it takes practice and all that, and you got to go to the range often to be able to have the skill that was required to hit Charlie where he was hit. You had the New York Yankees doing a moment of silence. This is cringe. Was his murder wrong and needs to be investigated? Yes. Is making him a national martyr? That's absolutely insane to me. I'm very interested in the shooter because, one, people were absolutely sharing the narrative today. I had to get on my own personal friends today, and I haven't done that in so long, and I hate doing it. Honestly, because it makes me look like an asshole, and I hate that, but it is what it is. So, like, in my little group, in my little I have a close group of friends, and we do some stuff, and they were talking about it, and one of them shared the video of Charlie Kirk getting murdered, and then they go, "The left is wild," and I'm like, I was like, why are you blaming the left before any of the details of the shooter even come out? And this is just a personal group. This is just a personal text. Like, this isn't the social media shit. This is just what private people are thinking. And then they go, "The left looks desperate, man. That shit's crazy. You can't kill people because of their opinions, whether you agree with him or not. He gave a shit ton of money to charity, was a family man, and employed a bunch of minorities." All things that, whatever, all the things that are woke now, apparently. I don't know. I can't. It's a teeter-totter. It depends on who it is and the day of the week. It changes. Immigrants good, immigrants bad. Our immigrants are good, your immigrants are bad, basically. But you know what I mean? And that was before we even had any, like, the shooter is still at large. We have no idea who the shooter is. And then I said, and then I go, I get it though. When I was, I'm not, whatever. And then I just ended it with this, because I'm sure a lot of you had to deal with texts like this today from randoms that are like maybe a little leaning towards supporting Charlie Kirk, I guess. They're like Charlie Kirk fans, or maybe but they don't talk about politics all the time, and they hit you with the, "Damn, today's a dark day, ain't it?" And then they hit you with some bullshit about left-wing politics, and like this all before we even know who the shooter is or their political motivations. And yes, I went into the details of the previous shooter actually we've gone into all of them at my channel on Mercado Media here. Whoever the shooter is, I don't care. Whoever is committing violence, I want to know who they are and what their motivations were for doing it. And instead of getting facts and evidence, and if the facts and evidence come out that this person was just a Kamala supporter, blue all the way, like attended the rallies and like did this because, then okay, I got to report the facts. I would report the facts at that moment and tell you this is why this person did this and murdered Charlie Kirk. But we don't have that, do we? We'd be assuming, wouldn't we? I'd be doing propaganda because it's like maybe news. Maybe this is true. I don't know. Does it fit your bias? Does that make it better? Does it make it more understandable that, oh, Charlie was Kirk from a leftist? Hey, is that what happened? Is that why? Because that like is easier to deal with right away? Because it's obviously like a very traumatic thing that everyone saw today, no matter what, like getting shot in the fucking neck, dude. What the, like, you know what I mean? So everyone saw that shit today. And the first thing you go to is the left did this or whatever. And it's like, can we have facts, please, first? Or can we like learn about who the shooter is? And instead, here we are at 10 p.m. now. It's 10 p.m. in Minnesota time. And we still have, and the shooter is at large. They're on, it's a manhunt. You know what I mean? What are we doing? What happened to caring about facts and evidence? And again, if the facts and evidence come out that match the biases that we're told, then that's what it is. So be it. That'll be the truth. But right now we don't have anything. We have nothing. We don't know who did this. We don't know why they did it. We can assume in many directions, right? We can assume, but we don't actually know. And we have nothing on like the weapon. We have nothing on where the direction was at. No secondary news conference. But you know what we do have? We have the New York Yankees posting him and remembering. And you also have, it's so gross, guys. It's so bad. It's bad. Okay? And what's happening in the background of all this? You have this happening, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, with the troops.
I'd also be remiss if I did not acknowledge why that flag is at half-staff. We lost an incredible American today, a dear friend of mine. If you knew him, you love him. His name is Charlie Kirk. Taken by an assassin's bullet.
Like I want to puke, actually. Like I'm like upset in my stomach from this. Beyond belief.
Unfathomable. The only assurance I can take is that I know he is with his Lord and Savior right now. He has heard the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant."
Like, what a propaganda. Using our military for this. And then to spew non-religious shit as the Secretary of War. Get the fuck out of here.
As I know many of you will hear. And I didn't quite know what to do after that news with the rest of the day. But I know what felt fitting was to definitely come here and be with all of you. Not
why? Why would you want to come and be with all of you? Why is that the move you make? I wonder why. Oh, it's gonna get so bad here, guys. It's gonna get. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it for you.
Media, not anything. Just you don't do this for media. You
are doing this for media.
Do this for recognition. You do this because you love your countries and your communities in quiet ways that a lot of people don't understand. And so being here with you, with people who give so much, who put their lives at risk, and their families know it.
So Charlie Kirk deserves the respect at a half mass in front of a formation of soldiers, in which some of them actually have deployed. I can see their patches on their arms, and they have been overseas. These guys will, because there's the staff sergeant. These are the lower enlisted. These are the privates over here. Higher enlisted are over here. Staff sergeants, maybe a sergeant first class if they're still stuck being a squad leader. But anyways, E6s, E5s that have been overseas and have fought in war. and they have to stand there at parade rest and respect Charlie Kirk, and as if you're making the aura as if Charlie Kirk should be respected in the same light, and that's disgusting to me.
Is exactly where I should be and where we should all be. So if you would, bow your head with me and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Lord Jesus, be with Charlie, his family, his kids, his community, and this country. Welcome him into your arms. Comfort them when we don't understand your plan. We know your will be done. We don't always know what that means, but we know it is in your hands. And I ask that you watch over all these men and women here who put their lives on the line. Protect them tonight, tomorrow night, next week, and the months ahead. Lord God, protect them. And we put them under your shield of protection. It is in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen.
Never in my 10 years of service to this country did I ever stand in a fucking formation and have to pray for a political influencer, or oh my God, or let alone whatever. Of course, there's moments where you have your prayer with your group of your soldiers, or you have the funerals that you attend, and that's obviously religious because you got a priest involved and you pay the respects there, obviously, that go with into that. But never in my ever fucking life. You gotta pray with the Secretary of War for a right-wing influencer, right-wing social media influencer. What in the fuck is actually happening? Don't worry, it was worse. It was worse than that. Yeah, here's our dear leader. I think I posted it. Yeah, and also in the military, it is not there. You can choose your religion when you join, and then you used to put it on your dog tags. I don't think they do that anymore. But motherfuckers were putting Jedi on there. There's Wiccans, or that's like, or whatever, or other religions or beliefs. People had it all over their shit, or they got to wear their religious whatever, and it wasn't Christian. Where's the video? So here's what the president had to say about it today.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there...
The whole thing. Actually, the whole thing. The whole thing. That's where I'm at with it right now.
There's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith. And we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
And why should someone get credit for that, honestly? Why aren't we giving credit to people that are working with the youth in sports or the arts or anything else? This guy was, I mean, like his whole goal was to indoctrinate the youth into his absolute hyper extremist biased beliefs. Why is that celebrated, actually, instead of like people that work with the youth to bring them up and uplift them and try to help them get a better job, or like how to have social skills, or coaches? What in the fuck is happening? Holy shit, bro.
To share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year.
Oh, you mean like you do? You mean like you do on your social media as the president of the United States every single day?
The most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals.
Oh my God, bro.
This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism
Guys,
that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity.
I think I found him.
And to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie...
Yeah, tonight I commit, all Americans need to side with Charlie, and the left did this. Again, the shooter is at large. You want to talk about dialing down the temperature, political rhetoric, you know, not talking about violence either, but you have the president of the United States of America blaming the left. We're about to have McCarthyism again, chat. Or if you're a dissenter of Trump, that's just, hey, start working out. I'm being so serious. Start getting ready, like, for the gulag, and being able to fucking live in a prison for opposing Trump. That's where we're going, actually. Start getting ready. Like, we're gonna have a problem here.
Charlie Kirk lived and died the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
We're so fucked. We are so fucked. I was wondering if it was AI the way the video. Oh, I didn't even notice that one. I was wondering if it looks like AI at the start. And I had that gut feeling when I watched it the first time.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief.
Like, it looks like it looks like it was made with the new Google AI that you can do. Oh my god, brother. A rallying cry to smear Democrats. So I don't want to hear it, dude. Like, you know, I put out already. Like, this is what I actually, truly, actually believe. At the end of the day. At the end of the day, okay. I just want this to be known. Regardless of whom you support or oppose, no one deserves to die for their political beliefs. This was a violent and senseless act of murder. It's beyond civil discourse. It's pure tragedy. I stand against political violence no matter who the target is. My heart goes out to Charlie's family, especially his two little ones. That's the human cost here. Let's all commit to rejecting political violence and political conflict, always. Debate, disagree, but never resort to bloodshed. And you got the president of the United States and all of the top right-wing influencers straight up doing the exact opposite. So they're going to bring a fight no matter what, chat. I'm trying to tell you that. Like, you know, when the, you know, like for like the energy that Russia brings to Ukraine, where they just don't care. Like, no matter what you do, no matter what we say, no matter how much you try to explain, how much you try to just talk it out, they're bringing the fight no matter what. You were seeing posts all day today about, oh, this has radicalized me even further. Brother, how much more radicalized could you be already? Like, how much further radicalization, oh, fuck, how much more further radicalization is possible? They've been wanting the fight no matter what, though. The influencers of the right here. So I pull out a good one. I don't know where it went. Oh, yeah, here you go. When they ask me what radicalized you, I'm showing them this. Before this, I was a vehement racist, but now I'm a vehement racist. Like, I was already the worst possible I could be now, and now I'm only gonna get worse. I don't like... Still nothing new. 2 suspects in Charlie Kirk's killing are not tied to the shooting and were released. You feel like it's a distraction from what is yet to come? I think it's part of the narrative that Trump is setting. And, you know, I want to wait until we see the shooter before if we have like another day or two before we get anything about the shooter, I'm speaking what I think. But I'm not going to do that yet until we get something. And if we don't get anything, then I'm going to say what I think. I would hope I'm wrong on what I think. Because that would be like, bro, he's attending the game. Is he going to make September 11th about Charlie Kirk, do you think? The day before September 11th? Oh, man, I got to stop, dude. I got to stop. Stop. You're blaming South Park for memeing on Charlie Kirk, which, by the way, that doesn't change either. Like, get that understood. If you are putting out lies and misinformation and bigotry, you are up for criticism, and you're up for being made fun of, especially these days. So that doesn't stop. Just because you, like, if you're in the marketplace of ideas out here and you're influencing, or if you're doing shit, you You are absolutely up for criticism, or mimicry. There's one person in the country right now who has the power to lower the temperature and the violent and vitriolic rhetoric that is coursing through our political veins, rather than take the opportunity to do that like Biden did when Trump was shot at. Trump took to social media to make political attacks on the left while absolving his own side of all responsibility, all before even knowing who the shooter is. See you guys at the next shooting. Can't wait for conservatives to act as befuddled about that one as they are about this one. Every single one. FBI is working alongside our local, and it's not even just shootings. It's every major event anywhere. Shootings especially, but like weather, a minor inconvenience, trans person existing, Bud Light, Target, I don't know, something different every other day. The FBI is working alongside our local and state law enforcement partners in Utah to fully investigate and seek justice in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Anyone with information, photos, and video from the incident can help the FBI identify more identity. Can help the FBI identity more answers by sharing the files here. What is that? Am I dumb? Okay, grammar bad or what? Identify. Help the FBI. You don't have cameras to track where they went. It looks like there would easily, like in this block radius, there'd be cameras everywhere. You got a campus. What's the Clark building? That's a camp. It's all part of the campus. This is all UVU right here. There would be cameras everywhere here. Street cameras right outside the campus on the street. What are we doing? You think he had his car parked back here and that's why he ran this way on the rooftop, the shooter? There's just so many unanswered questions about this. And the timing is what I'm interested in too, obviously. And then why did they come out saying that they had the school first came out and said they had the suspect, and then they said, "Oops, my bad." And then it was the FBI director. That's what happened. It was the school first, and then the FBI came out and said, "Yeah, we got him." And then we got the retweet or quote tweet from Kash Patel saying, "Oops, actually no, we don't." They've been released, and it was likely the same guy that the campus reported on hours prior. And then he retweeted the FBI an hour ago. As soon as we heard the shooting, special agents and personnel from Salt Lake City field office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside our partners. There's camera video. Still underway. As of 37 minutes ago, still underway. Ongoing investigation for the shooter. Tankster Game says, I think it was confusing because of the old man. I seen a video where a cop said he shot him, but I don't know. Yeah, it was. That always happens in the early hours of breaking news. That's when propagandists do their best work. You got to plant the ideas early, and then to get rid of those ideas, it takes a lot, especially if it feeds a bias. People are like, "Yep, that's the answer I'm going with." Meanwhile, here was what Biden had. Thank you to Hutch. Here's what Biden had to say when Trump was shot.
As I said last night, there is no place in America for this kind of violence or any violence for that matter. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything. It's not who we are as a nation. It's not America. And we cannot allow this to happen. Unity is the most elusive goal of all, but nothing is important than that right now, unity. We'll debate and we'll disagree. That's not going to change, but we're going to not lose sight, in fact, who we are as Americans. As I said last night,
Very good point. Vance Bolter. Absolutely right, like without a doubt. Without a fucking doubt.
No sin. Il n'y a aucun péché that God can't take care of.
Remember that this was the shooter that murdered Melissa Hortman and her family and their dog.
Ne peut pas enlever. Nothing. Il n'y a rien. There's people, especially in America. Il y a des gens, particulièrement aux États-Unis. They don't know what sex they are. They don't know how their sexual orientation. They're confused. Ils ne savent pas ce qu'ils sont exactement. Ils ont une confusion. The enemy has gotten so far into their mind and their soul. Et l'ennemi est entré dans le fond de leur pensée et de leur âme. But this word, mais cette parole, cuts deeper. Va aux profondeurs. Because it's living. Parce qu'elle est vivante. And it's active. Et elle est agissante. And God goes down there and pulls that out. Et elle peut entrer dans notre cœur et enlever tout ce qui est de mal. And he sets every person free. Et pouvoir nous libérer. There shouldn't be one person in this room. Il doit y avoir quelqu'un dans cette salle that leaves tonight qui est en train de vivre le péché. With a sin or a problem you're dealing with in your heart and soul. Peut-être que tu as un problème qui est vraiment dans ton cœur qui te fait souffrir. Because Jesus has the answer. Parce que Jésus-Christ a la réponse. But he may ask a question. Mais il va te poser une question. The Holy Spirit may come to you. Le Saint-Esprit peut venir vers toi. He may come to a man. Il peut venir vers un homme. And say, who's that woman? Et puis il va demander, qui es-tu? Or he may come to a woman. Il peut venir à une femme. And say, who's that man? Il peut demander à la femme, qui est cet homme? Il demande à l'homme, qui est cette femme? He already knows. Dieu connaît déjà. Or he may say, where are you? Il peut te demander, où es-tu? And when God asks a question, mais quand Dieu pose cette question, we need to answer. Nous avons besoin de répondre. And if I'm that man that's doing something with a woman, même si c'est que tu as fait avec un homme ou une femme, and the word of God comes to me, la parole de Dieu vient vers moi, I can be like Cain, je ne peux pas être comme Caïn, and say I don't know, et dire au Seigneur, je ne sais pas, je ne sais pas. But then that's what I get. That's what I deserve if I don't acknowledge God. Si je ne reconnais pas Dieu, c'est ce que je mérite. But God doesn't ask the question. Mais Dieu est en train de lui poser une question. Because he wants to hurt our feelings.
Anyways, so all that bullshit was the killer of Melissa Hortman in Minnesota, and immediately, because of cope and because of bullshit, and that happens politically from people in America, they were like, the guy, Tim Walz had him, because he did. Tim Walz had him, but also previous governors had him as a security. He was like, he was contracted for security because a lot of conservatives do that, is they like do security stuff. So like Mark Dayton had him, and I think the previous governor too. And then Governor Walz was like, okay, because it's just a list of names. He had no idea who this person was. Just a list of names that served in the previous administration. Okay. And it's like a mundane ass job. Okay. I don't need, and in the Democratic Party, they're not putting loyalists into positions to be loyal to Tim fucking Walz. That in Minnesota, that doesn't happen. Anyways, so this guy was called a Tim Walz supporter. This is the day we had the No Kings rally. The No Kings protests, and this guy went out and murdered our Speaker of the House and her husband and their dog. Nothing. None of this. None of this. None of what happened today. Because none of what happened today is happening that happened back then. If anything, a bunch of propaganda and shit was spun at Vince Balter to tie him to walls, and that's what happened. So we are in a world of hypocrisy. Actual hypocrisy. Charlie Kirk is a sick, racist piece of trash. Okay. Just put on the Klan hood already. So you can scrub your post, but you can't scrub your hands clean of this. What is wrong? Like I said, are you going to use this as a layer of like, oh, you can't criticize or say anything. You can't say anything. No, hell no. That's going to continue. What you don't do is take it to physical violence. No political violence. What does Robbie Road Streamer say? No political violence, people. We don't do political violence. So if words upset you, so they had the Unfuck America tour. I think that Robbie Road Streamer was a part of it. The Unfuck America tour creators, organizers, and staff are disturbed by the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The entire mission of the National Ground Game and the Unfuck America tour is to have good faith debates with our political opponents. We're really excited to meet with Charlie Kirk for a scheduled debate a week from Sunday and are devastated by this outcome. Charlie was a husband, a son, a father who loved his country. Even though we disagreed on with his political philosophy, we respected the hard work it took to build Turning Point USA, as our founder stated on CNN. Unfortunately, one of the UFA debaters was debating Charlie when this happened and had to witness this horrifying, traumatic event. Because of this, we are asking that people respect both our creators and our staff's privacy while we grieve. At this time, we have canceled all events until further notice. We are keeping Charlie's family, friends, and staff in our prayers, and we'll be there for him if and when they are ready to reach out. So, literally, the opponent to Charlie in the debate that they were having at the moment he was shot, the political opponent. And this is the statement that they're making. Completely human. What the president was offering and all the MAGA content creators and influencers were fueling the flames. And they're still going to. And they're absolutely going to. And this thumb. We're all Charlie Kirk now.
I'm not somebody that cries easily.
You are, though.
I was sitting in this parking lot going home. I started crying a few months ago.
Well, you guys get to see Alex Jones cry today.
Charlie Kirk was a really sweet person. I first met him back in 2016 at the RNC in Cleveland. He was so young. He had to be like 20-something years old then, so happy, so full of life. He had big plans. How he was going to galvanize all the kids on campuses to vote Republican, wake them up to communism.
Wake them up to communism. Because colleges teach communism, which they don't. Never have they ever taught communism. They don't do that at the colleges. That's a right-wing indoctrination talking point from people that don't go to college.
And they killed him today with a high-powered rifle. Classic stuff. It's like crooks in Pennsylvania running around the roof. Nobody's doing anything. And they shot him and killed him.
Who did? Classic like crooks, which also is weird. And was like really weird. And we still don't have like all the answers on that one either. It's almost like he's trying to hurry up the narrative just to keep it focused back onto the left did this. Because there's so many unanswered questions. Guy saw him up on the roof and he's running around up there. Anyways, leftists. Yeah, the leftists did it. Let's talk about that again. I'm crying. You see me crying? I'm crying. Alex Jones.
And the left's celebrating it.
There you go.
You know, all the Democrats calling for violence. Just everything else is just sick.
All the Democrats calling for violence, except for like all of them weren't. Except for every single one was posting like thoughts and prayers actually. But like more than that though. More than that. That would be like that would be like an Alex Jones would say thoughts and prayers, but probably not even. But the Democrats are offering way more. Like this is a senseless act of killing. This would be that political violence has no room in America. We condemn fully, like almost all of them. That every single one, Biden, Kamala, all the way down. So they're just lying. And then when you remember when I told you guys, that's why I teach you guys about how right-wing media works. So you got people that only watch Alex Jones, and he's telling you what Democrats are saying. They're not going to go fact check that. They're going to be like, oh, Democrats are saying that he deserved it and shit, or Democrats did it. Then they're going to be more. I guess that's where you get more indoctrinated. I guess that's how it happens. But I don't know where it goes from. Where the extreme goes from here. Already raided the U.S. Capitol to try to stop an election. What comes next? The support of the military in the streets. We're gonna have militias and like brown shirt. Like I know the ICE is called brown shirts, but I'm talking like actual MAGA, and you can say ICE too. And I'm talking like non-connected. Like you got militias out here with ICE too, so you're gonna have them too.
Filth. But you know, Charlie Kirk really is a hero and a family man and somebody that had a real vision. And the left and the globalists have really screwed up because
the left and the globalists,
look, there's safety in numbers.
They have this. See how bullshit the messaging is? He's grasping at straws. You have no idea what happened. 122,000 likes.
And I was honest in videos I posted. I said, I don't do a bunch of public events. I don't go to colleges because I guarantee you, if I went out for a year, 10, 15 events, I'll get shot dead. And I'm not scared of dying, but...
You have been one of the most prominent extremist figures in America my whole life. My whole life, actually, Alex Jones. Are you shitting me right now? Mr. Bohemian Grove? Mr. 9/11 was an inside fucking job? Are you shitting me actually right now? What a bunch of horseshit.
I can digitally and cyber level, really counter the globalist. And I remember telling people, I think I've even said it on air, I said, man, I'm surprised Charlie Kirk's not dead. Because the left can't deal with this. And he knew what he was doing. He put himself out there.
The left can't deal. They were literally debating him to his face, and they had Hassan Piker, who is unfortunately one of the most biggest left-leaning influencers in the country, was about to debate him and bring Hassan's audience and Charlie Kirk audience, and then together. No one's afraid of, like, what are we talking about, bro? The more that these people talk, the more I'm like, this was absolutely like planned by the Trump administration. I'll say it now. I'm not on that yet. I'm not on that one yet because I still want to see the facts of the shooter before I'm like set in stone on that one and I make a post about it. But the more they say this horse shit, instead of like waiting for the facts, the more I know they're cooking a narrative up. And this is such a weak, loose narrative too this whole time. Like he's like, now the tears are done now. I think he had to make himself cry before the video started.
On the front lines, he got millions of votes. Millions of votes for Trump. And people that bitch and complain about Trump say he's not getting the whole agenda done quick enough or whatever. He's getting so much done. It's amazing. It doesn't matter. It's about the team he brought forward and about the fact that we know Kamala Harris, the Democrats, are absolute.
My take on Hassan is I don't think he actually believes what he says. He's a skilled orator. He's got a big platform. He knows how to connect. He knows how to do social media. He knows how to be an influencer. But now beyond that, I don't think he actually believes what he says. We saw that in LA when he went out to the protests. He was taking selfie photos with the protesters against ICE. And the protesters, the unnamed protesters that don't have a Twitch platform, that are on the left, were out there doing more. Literally like wearing shields and shit. And then Hassan's out there like taking selfies with, when they would be like, they'd come off the line. It's like, Hassan? Oh, let me get a selfie. I gotta wipe the tear gas from my face. And he's just like sitting there taking a selfie with him. I mean, like, I just don't feel like he believes what he says. And it's a platform. And I think a lot of people are like that. Not just Hassan.
Criminal pedophile enablers. And it's about the RFK Juniors, the Tulsi Gabbards, and the Charlie Kirks. The left knew they couldn't attack Charlie Kirk frontally, so they kind of put out stories about this and that. He wasn't hardcore enough. He wasn't better enough. And a lot of people picked it up. I just said, listen, He's getting people registered to vote Republican. And they're night and day to Democrats. They're not perfect, they're night and day. So he wasn't afraid to face evil. He wasn't afraid to put his life on the line. And I'm not the guy to act tough.
You're not the guy to act tough? This is like, never mind. I don't want to just keep shitting on people because like whatever, but we're done. All done with Alex Jones. That's enough. That's enough, Alex Jones. Just just lying. The left did this. This is the left. I got hit with this one too. Okay, so before I made my final post, before I went live about it all, I was posting Charlie Kirk's quotes. And I got hit with, just when I thought you could not get any more subhuman, you got your shovel out. One, LOL, I'm going to use that one from now on, so that's a good one. Two, I'm posting Charlie Kirk's quote, like nothing else. I didn't add anything or take anything away. You know what I mean? Like, I posted that. I got the same shit on Facebook, too, for it. I can't believe you say something like this. Brother, I'm not saying it. I'm literally quoting Charlie Kirk. There's so many more cases of that. I mean, it's going to be but there's going to be a Charlie Kirk posthumous take that are going to be thrown in the face of people like soon, actually, because of how many actually bad takes he's had on everything. That is like beyond. Charlie Kirk thinks there's nothing wrong with saying culture and race are the same, or non-white people can never be Americans. Conservatives are once again mainstreaming white nationalism. This will be the fight over the next 2 years. That's what it seems to be right now. Right? It's like crime, but they're really trying to gear it into the the Great Replacement, white victimhood, Christian nationalist. Like we're going in that direction specifically now. Like just crime wasn't enough because that Trump got owned on that with the Epstein files. So now it's like, okay, now we're going to actually go full Christian white nationalist with it. So the Surf's new leaked audio of Matt Walsh arguing with his co-host about how you can't separate race and culture and how Mexicans can never be Americans or white. He goes on to mock indigenous genocide and boast about the superiority of white culture in society. So Charlie Kirk goes, Matt Walsh said nothing wrong. In fact, he said what most Americans take at face value, that heritage and culture are connected and that America was founded by Anglo-Saxons based upon Anglo-Saxon laws and traditions. If anyone thinks immigrants don't bring their culture with them, and that's what he says. Just like, and then Charlie Kirk was such a good person. He put good energy into the world all the time. He was a great father. Literally had the most cringe, dumb fuck. Like, who think, chat? When you wake up in the morning, do you think about Anglo-Saxons and the foundations upon America was built? Or is that some fucking weirdo shit, actually? Most Americans wake up are like, damn, do I have more money in my bank account than yesterday? Damn, I don't? Oh, shit. Because I gotta pick up a third job. Heck. No one's thinking about that weird ass shit. But Charlie Kirk was spewing that type of nonsense every day. Trying to control people. I have my takes, but I never ever tell you guys. Like today, I finally told you guys something. I told you what to do, and that was to take a break from the news. I hurt myself. I probably could have had more viewers tonight. I told them to take the night off. But other than that, like I just care about misinformation, corruption, and that's probably it. Misinformation and corruption, which lead into bigotry and other avenues. But beyond that, like, if you have whatever religion you want, go ahead. I don't care. Whatever you want to smoke weed, you want to drink, fine. You don't want to, you want to be sober, okay, great. That's probably good. Being sober is cool. I tried it for a while, like completely sober. Couldn't do it for too long. Gotta have my weed. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you marry. I don't care who you make out with. I don't care who you fuck. I don't give a shit. None of that matters as long as it's not children. As an adult, you should be put in in a gulag forever. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like the rest of the country believes that. Just like a portion of us believe that, right? But beyond that, and generally, like if like I don't, number one, I guess I can come off as a political influencer, but I really don't tell y'all what to believe or do. Actually, I criticize liars. Like that's really what I do, and that can come across political, for sure. But beyond that, I'm not telling you guys where to vote, where to shit, where to sleep. I don't care. Actually, I hope the best for you. Charlie Kirk was not that. Charlie Kirk was telling you where to shit, where to sleep, how to live your life, when you can live your life, who can live the life with you. And that's so wrong. That is so wrong. If you have like a political info, if if anything, like maybe that gives people a direction that don't have a direction, and they need literally just like being told what to do. And I understand that. But I feel like it's better just to tell people of all the resources out here, like the differences and like ways you can solve it yourself. There's so many resources and people to talk to that you don't need to go to these right-wing evangelical ass brother. Like in general, like, you know what I mean? Like all of it. We all have a million few important updates for you on the show tomorrow. So much new information coming. It doesn't add up. Kyle. I've been liking more and more Kyle postings. I have been. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm with it. It has to be. At the very least, the person that did it is a professional. It ain't no random protester leftist. Isn't that weird? I can both talk about the politics and how bad it is, but also actually care about the who shot Charlie Kirk, and I want to give you guys those facts, no matter what they are. I don't care who did it. I do care. I care that we find out who killed Charlie Kirk today. If they're whatever they are, that's what it is. That's the truth. But we don't know. And all day today, we've heard nothing about the left did this and the left did that, and it's nonsense, and it adds to the problem. Talking about Charlie Kirk's politics and what he used to say does not add to the fucking problem. It puts a spotlight on what Charlie Kirk was putting out into the ether. Does it justify his murder? Absolutely not. Does it mean that because Charlie Kirk was saying the most hateful, bigoted shit on a daily basis, does that mean you can go out and grab a sniper rifle and shoot him? No. Absolutely not. But if you can't handle, like, we need to figure out, number one, who killed him, but also just the general, like, the general temperature of like what's happening in the country needs to be talked about. You can't both have your safe space of like, oh, Charlie Kirk was murdered, now's not the time to talk about it. There's never a perfect time. I'm ADHD, take it from me. I'm always looking for the perfect time for something. It never happens. Man, I think I'll have a good day Sunday. I can do my laundry. I'll do that. I'll do my laundry that day. Nope. I'll have enough time to get this task done. I know I will. I just gotta wait for the perfect day. Perfect day never happens. I know, I'm calling myself out because I'm like that. I'm not playing any Charlie Kirk getting shot videos. The full story shows where the chaos actually got its start, and it's no surprise. Because on the House floor, a moment of silence on the House floor, conservative commentator Charlie Kirk devolved into a moment of chaos as a pair of Republicans called out Democrats. With every lawmaker standing up in quiet observance, Representative Lauren Boebert demanded a spoken prayer. Silent prayers get silent results. Really? Representative Anna Paulina Luna stood up and started shouting explicitives at Democrats before Speaker Johnson gavelled lawmakers down. This is disgusting, said a Republican granted anonymity to react candidly to the clash. Because otherwise, like, Mike Johnson and the administration would, like, unperson them if they found out what House Republican made that comment about Representative OnlyFans lady. Well, this is an hour ago now. The latest from the Utah DPS and FBI Salt Lake City on the Kirk shooting. We initially took George Zinn as a suspect. That's the old guy. He was later released and charged with obstruction by police. A second suspect, Zachariah Qureshi, was taken into custody and released after interrogation with law enforcement. There are no current ties to the shooting with either of these individuals. There's an. Why did the old guy say? I don't want to like it's. He when he was being taken away, he was saying some weird shit, and he was talking about I know my rights and was at least like visibly like not really arguing with why he was being detained, right? You know what I mean? Like if you were just standing there and weren't the shooter and you were being detained, you would be complaining, or I would be. Like, what are you doing? I didn't do anything. I didn't do this. Why are you arresting me? I didn't do this. I would be literally like, literally screaming at denial. At the top of my lungs, probably. This is bad. The two guys they detained were one, a local crank who was known to be a pest by local police, and two, an Arab American conservative works for Heritage who was likely racially profiled even though he supported. Oh, that's what a. There you go. It's a French kiss on this. Their second suspect was profiled. Profiled, and were supported. Turning Point USA. You guys think the police have a clue? It is now almost 11 p.m. Central Time here in Minnesota. You saw info that the first guy was an activist? For what? We can do a poll. Let's do a poll. Do you believe the police have a lead on the killer? All right, I gave a few options for you. Or 3 options. Do you believe the police have a lead on the killer? Yes, no, or a conspiracy, but no facts. Like you think something, but you don't have the facts to back it up yet. Incoherent anarchist? None of that. This person is a trained professional with the rifle. The entire right has to band together. Enough of this infighting bullshit. We're up against demonic forces from the pit of hell. One of the top influencers. Matt Walsh, unfortunately, 3.7 million followers. They're killing us in our churches. They tried to kill our president. They killed Charlie, one of our greatest advocates. Put the personal squabbles. See what they're doing. They're trying to get their infighting done over Elon and Israel. They ain't about bringing the country together. They're full on in their narrative, y'all. Man, talk about bringing the country together. The threads of bots calling for civil war. Half of them have AI-generated profile photo, the standard bio schlop, and the standard banners. Stop fucking engaging them. They are there for a reason, and they aren't on your side. And yeah, that's what it usually looks like. Chad, have you ever seen a photo that looks uncanny to you immediately? It's AI. I'm just letting you know right now, your gut instinct is likely correct. If it's like, this looks, I don't know, this kind of looks like a, I don't know. Yeah, the AI. So that's how, I guess, good it is now? Like, how good the AI is getting? Brother, we need a civil war now. We can't live the intolerant left anymore. It's time to crush them once and for all. All day today. Cooking. Especially after Russia had drones fly into Poland. Oof. Probably a wombo combo between something going on with the shooter and what's going on there, and then this country. He said a lot of Twitter profiles are bots now. True. Very true. Oh, most of the platform would be. That's why the likes are so botted. Guys, why are they deep faking the president? Wait, really? Well, we saw it earlier, but here's an up close. Oh, the pinky finger. Oh. Oh, the finger comes out of nowhere. Why would they deep fake a video? Why wouldn't Trump make a real video? Why wouldn't Trump make a real video about Charlie Kirk? Like in 2 seconds, like he does in the loud ass fucking airplane. When we have to wait for Trump to make a statement about anything, and there's usually a jet engine near him. Mr. President, that's usually how like all of his shit goes, because he's just like, I'll do an interview right now in this loud ass noise so you can barely hear me. Why would they do an AI deepfake video for this?
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of
even you know what? Yeah, his body looks off. His head looks off from where his hands.
Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who
It's even more obvious when you're looking at the hands. Watch that shit. Watch that glitch. It is AI. Yes, 100%. This is AI.
Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he...
Can you point it out, please? Look at his hands. Watch his hands.
Millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot
The fuck, dude? And no, you didn't tuck his pinky behind his fucking finger, his hand either. That's what I was looking for. There's no knuckle there. The whole knuckle goes away. Holy shit. Did they martyr Charlie Kirk today? Like murder, but martyr him? Compare and contrast these two responses.
And to remember, while we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors. We're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're fellow Americans. We must stand together. Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us.
Could you imagine if Biden was using AI because he's too old and didn't want to appear old, so they're like, let's just AI Biden instead? Could you imagine? Oh my God. Shut it down. They'd shut everything down. Biden's AI in himself.
Take a step back. Take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here. Thankfully, Former Trump is not seriously injured. I spoke with him last night. I'm grateful. He's doing well, and Jill and I keep him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victims who was killed. Corey was a husband, a father, a volunteer firefighter, a hero, sheltering his family from those bullets. We should all hold his family and all those injured in our prayers. Earlier today, I spoke about an ongoing investigation. We do not know the motive of the shooter yet. We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else. Law enforcement professionals, as I speak, are investigating those questions. Tonight, I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We cannot, we must not go down this road in America. We've traveled it before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. Whether it's with members of Congress of both parties being targeted and shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or a brutal attack on the spouse of former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information and intimidation on election officials, or the kidnapping plot against the sitting governor, or an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, or for any violence ever.
That was Biden when Trump was in Pennsylvania. Why wouldn't, come on, Ron, you're not seeing the, watch the hand. Surprised Ron wouldn't see this. House Speaker Mike Johnson says there's been a deluge of lawmakers calling for heightened security following Charlie Kirk's murder.
Everybody on both sides of the aisle, we have to call out political violence. I think there is a recognition, some are saying it openly, some more quietly, that the vitriol, the level that is there now, the hatred that has been fomented, there's a time that we've got to turn the volume down. And I think there's a lot of the people, I think, that find pleasure in stoking that fire, and it's dangerous. There are deranged people in society, and if they are encouraged along this way, they will do dangerous things, increasingly so. We see that. So I think that members of Congress have come to that recognition. I think many of them are nervous, of course. They're public figures. They're exposed all the time, everywhere. We have great security measures for members of Congress, but there's a desire on many people's parts to have more. These are the new realities. I think social media has been a toxin in politics. I think it has added to this vitriol. But at the end of the day, I think the call is that we've got to recognize.
You're blaming social media? That's what you blame? So you're blaming the are you going to ban social media?
In politics, I think it has added to this vitriol. But at the end of the day, I think the call is that we've got to recognize once more that we are all fellow Americans. We should see one another as colleagues and fellow citizens and fellow. That's
literally not what the president is saying tonight. That's not what the president of the United States put out there, or any of the other top conservative influencers. This guy can go on CNN and say this shit, but the actual right wing and the influencers are not about what he is even saying right now.
Fellow countrymen, and not as enemies. That's not what Charlie Kirk represented. He genuinely loved the debate because he genuinely loved the people. And I think that's a really important thing for us to remember.
On lawmakers, I mean, have you heard from
unless if you were black or gay or weren't like Christian white nationalist.
Genuinely loved the debate because he genuinely loved the people. And I think that's a really important thing for us to remember.
On lawmakers, I mean, have you heard from members who want heightened security because of what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, of course. There's been a deluge of that. I mean, from the moment all this took place. And we're looking at that. We have to take serious measures for serious times.
Well, here's some Charlie Kirk for you. In case you're like, who is Charlie Kirk while he was alive here?
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
That's why I like, you know, like I when you're putting this into the, and this is like what you're saying, like this is you're influencing. And then you're literally saying like black people took a white person's job and they can't think properly because they're black.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course, that's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies. That turned me into a
anti-white
bitter,
discrimination
resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our
So I mean, it sucks more for his kids. I think that is really what is going to be left. Like you know, because the youth are on the internet more than I am. I'm on the internet a lot, but they are like all on the internet. And I mean, you're just gonna have clips of Charlie's political takes being played all day. You know, like who was Charlie Kirk? Well, he was out here, and this is what he was doing. Does that mean that he should be murdered for saying these things? Absolutely not. But I feel it's better just to show you, like, this is what was being said, if you're wondering. I don't have anything other to say about just playing his own words for you. I have people in the chat saying, what are you doing? Playing Charlie's own words. I'm not saying shit. I disagree. There you go. I disagree. He shouldn't have been murdered for any of that, though. However, what he's saying is very bigoted and hateful. And we're having the military pray for him with the Secretary of War, and he's singling out. You got Charlie singling out black politicians, while the Secretary of War is standing with soldiers praying for the guy that hated black people, clearly, because Charlie did. Let's just be honest. Charlie did hate black people. And you got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 African-American soldiers standing right there. Right there. And you're praying and having to bow your head in prayer for the person that hated you for your skin color, which Charlie did. He did.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very...
Is that how normal... That's got... Like, everything this is reflective of how the right wing is. Because if this is normal rhetoric to you, then something should be wrong. If you're not cringing while listening to this, like, something's wrong. If this sounds normal and based, it's flawed. You're flawed.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk's self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described Kirk as a hero and a civil rights icon. It's true. I used to be wrong. What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK? Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad guy? When Kirk says that MLK says, quote, one good thing he didn't believe, what does he mean by that? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Where did he hate black people? Asked Terra Nova in the chat. Oh, he's like, we talk about how the Civil Rights Act was a mistake every week. Like, that's a regular feature of the platform. The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. That was one of his biggest ones. But it's wild. Like, you know, I can't stand Hassan's takes. Like, America deserved 9/11 and other shit like that. But, you know, you got straight up a Civil Rights Act was a mistake. And we got the Yankees having him as picture out there. You got the soldiers are praying for him. It's sick. But does it justify his murder? No. It does not. Him saying that does not mean he deserves to be murdered for that. But do you know what I liked better? Do you know what I liked better than Charlie Kirk being murdered for saying this? It's the South Park. That could actually be a LOL. We could laugh at that, right? A lot of people like that. Even people that probably do support him. He even liked it. He had the photo of himself as Cartman. Kind of a little bit cool, I guess, just to be mimicked by Cartman and shit. And like main characters on the app or on South Park, whatever. But like that's a far better like to make fun of this. This should be mocked. This rhetoric should be mocked and made fun of and shit on. None of them deserve to be killed for what they're saying. They deserve to be mocked and ridiculed for it though. And that needs to happen. And if like you're thinking like you can't, like I said earlier, if you're thinking you can't mock or criticize this, you got another thing coming. Especially if like you're mounting a right-wing force of people now in a response to this. It's only the rhetoric will just continue. You get made fun of even more. The memes will just become even spicier.
You were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
And that's a lie. I know it's like this falls into a right-wing bias from 2020 in which the toxicology report came out before the actual trial and it didn't have the full conclusive information on there. But then you watch the entire trial and it was without a doubt he was killed by death by asphyxiation involving Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck. But because of Charlie Kirk audience viewers and other people like Charlie Kirk that watch all the same news, and they all are like the same type of person, but just different branding, but they all are connected, say the same exact shit. And they are like comfortable in a lying bias that George Floyd died of an overdose when he did not do that. He died of asphyxiation.
But he had his knee on his neck. And we all saw the video.
But the knee on the neck is actually an approved police technique. That police department
and it wasn't approved, and it was tested, and they had to testify in the court about the procedures and were proved wrong. They're not taught that one.
It's taught Derek Chauvin to use. Do you know that George Floyd was saying I couldn't breathe well before that restraining technique? And
so why'd they use the technique?
And that's a lie too. George Floyd was not saying I can't breathe before Derek Chauvin's knee was on his neck. Literally lying about a stream we all saw. If you didn't see the live stream of George Floyd being murdered in 2020, then you're probably better off. That's what put me into the streets of Minneapolis anyways, and why I even have a platform, is because I saw that happen and I'm like, this is a 4K murder on Facebook Live. Kind of similar reactions and energy I'm giving to this guy from today's murder. Because I can't get off of it now because we don't have a shooter and there's too many unanswered questions. Same type of... Okay, so we got an update saying that the two early... Okay, nothing new. Still no shooters. Still no suspects. Because what happened to George Floyd was wrong, and what happened to Charlie Kirk was wrong today. But this guy would have had a different take. You know what? This guy would have had oh my goodness. It's so many layers of just garbage wrapped up into one little propaganda burrito.
Technique if he already couldn't breathe.
Well, because he was actually resisting arrest, and they had to restrain him, and they restrained him in a way that they were taught to do, which is the knee on the neck technique.
Okay, so when does the like technique end? Like when they die? Like he said he couldn't breathe.
No, I mean the technique ends when the individual stops resisting arrest. His cause of death was not asphyxiation; it was drug overdose.
And that's a lie. You're lying. You're not. That's a lie. You have your freedom of speech to lie. Actually, in America, the president does. You can do whatever you want. Charlie can't face a criminal court by saying this. Thankfully, actually, I'm glad he can't, because that would be bad for me, because I sure have a lot of my own opinions that are opposite of his. However, he's lying, and in regular, you call it out and you say he's lying. Charlie Kirk is literally just lying right now, and then you usually go about your fucking day.
That was a part of it. Like he also had a heart like thing, and like he was on drugs, but like he wouldn't have just died if he was standing there. Like they had his.
Well, actually, there's an argument to be made. According to the medical examiner, he was drug overdosing in real time.
He literally was not. He literally was not doing that. He was literally up and walking around. Like you're relitigating 2020 all over again, and the beliefs and the lies, and that's honestly what put me off of the right wing. Was the lies of George Floyd and the lies about the protests and what I was seeing with my own eyes from people that weren't out there but wanted to tell me what the fuck they were looking at. Hey, the protests are gonna riot again. It was like a month after. No, they're just gonna go to the park and protest and march around the city for a little bit. Yeah, the Mercado's a George Soros actor now. He is BLM. He's a BLM activist. Very quickly became one, I guess.
That it wasn't because of the police officer, Derek Chauvin, that put his knee on the neck. And again, they were taught to do that. According to the Hennepin County Police Department, they teach that as an approved restraint technique.
And no, in the trial, wrong. Lying.
And by the way, this is just a broader point. Our whole country blew up because of this incident, and it was largely based on a lie. Largely based on a lie. We were all.
What was the lie?
The lie is that there was a white police officer that went after a black person just because he was black, and it just wasn't true. He was resisting arrest.
Okay, but he killed him. Like that doesn't.
Well, again, the county medical examiner disagrees.
In Charlie Kirk's rhetoric yesterday, before he was murdered, about Irina Zarutska was the opposite direction of that. And it's like, brother. This is all day, you guys. His platform is going all day long like this, with this bullshit.
The county medical examiner in the original report.
So then why did he get sentenced?
Exactly. That's a good
question.
I'm saying it's because it was large.
Because it was a left-wing judge and activists.
Actually, a show trial.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, they were not.
I didn't know what he was going to say, but I was going to guess because you can just go to what they say. They just make up shit on the spot. Pretty good at it though. Got to give him credit. Hey. He was able to make a absolutely massive platform out of nothing to lie to people all day. And he made something out of nothing to lie.
Is in Leviticus 18 is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death. Just saying. So
is Charlie Kirk advocating for the stoning of gay people?
Rachel, you quote Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. The chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matters.
God's perfect law. I'm a POS for playing Charlie Kirk's own words. I'm not sorry, actually. We're gonna find out who the killer is though for you, so you can feel better. We'll help find the killer, and if it ends up being somebody that's politically left leaning, I'll be honest about it, and I'll tell you the truth. But are you upset watching Charlie Kirk's own words, or what's going on? It was cool when he wasn't dead, but now posthumously the words are what? When he was alive, these words were just like part of your daily regimen, but now they're hitting hard, or what? Or what's happening for you?
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think
empathy is a made-up New Age term that...
Yeah, yeah, there you go. He doesn't care about your feelings. He doesn't believe in them. Empathy is a New Age term. Probably, you would have said, if you would have said that now, you would have called it woke.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but I can't stand...
Actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happens?
What was?
It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess...
Racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just... It shows they were actually...
Can't stand the word empathy.
I think they'll be posting more. I'm going to keep that thread. Just for anyone that's like, Charlie Kirk was such a great like doing that shit. Like, no. I'm with you at the level of political violence should never be acceptable, and murder for your opinions is wrong. I'm with you 100% on that. Beyond like before that point though, in terms of everything Charlie is saying, I vehemently disagree. In so many ways. And it's leading to, in his words, actually, are bringing upon a lot of the influencers we're seeing push violent rhetoric. If anything, it's like almost the inverse of what the right is trying to push, that this is causing whatever. It's anything, it's causing more right-wing terrorism. The left has no idea what they've just done.
Charlie Kirk was just shot in the fucking neck at Utah University, somewhere in fucking Utah at one of his events. And I am directly attributing this to all these fucking media personalities and these...
Doesn't even know where it's at. Doesn't even know where the shooting took place, but is mouthing off his dumb fuck opinion right away. Literally doesn't even know. I don't know where it's at. Somewhere in Utah. Point to Utah on the U.S. map.
Politicians like Tim Walz getting on the fucking TV and saying, well, I sure do hope he dies today.
So it all leads back to Trump and the rhetoric of Trump. He's connecting Charlie Kirk's murder to Trump somehow. And like in terms of like he's using, or he's aura farming right-wing victimhood brain about people not liking Trump, especially my governor, Tim Walz. And when Trump's own health complications of his own actions are leading to his visible demise because of his own words, that is far different than a murder or an assassination. If there's an absolute dog shit piece of shit person out here and they go naturally, then I probably will celebrate that, honestly. If it's natural, like for example, like Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh, yeah, fuck him. Too bad that shit didn't get to him sooner. But I wouldn't just be saying that if he was murdered or assassinated. He had died of his own actions. Trump, if he goes, it looks like it's going to be to his own health and his own actions. That's what Tim Walz is talking about. But for this guy and others like him, that is the worst crime you could commit because you said mean words at Trump. So he's connecting mean words at Trump, aura farming agitation propaganda about Trump, Walz, and bringing it and then putting it into the Charlie Kirk. It's actually incredible.
Getting on the fucking TV and saying, well, I sure do hope he dies today. I sure hope he dies. Y'all are the fucking reason this shit is happening, you evil motherfuckers. Everything that they say Trump is, they are. Trump's violent, they're fucking violent. Trump's hateful, they're fucking hateful. Trump's a fascist, they're literally shooting people who don't agree with them.
How many? This guy's eyes are wide open. This guy is so woke. God, look how woke this guy is.
Don't agree that children should be murdered in fucking droves and that men should be able to watch fucking women take a piss
How about you look at where you're driving?
Hey.
You're gonna crash. And then what, is that going to be a left-wing car that kills you because you were looking at your phone while you're driving, angry, agit-propping?
Fucking grown-ass men should be able to have peeping Tom shows in front of elementary school fucking kids.
So angry. I'm going to be even more radical than I am. Ah! If they don't start committing just terroristic acts out of, then they're going to, like, it's going to be a mental health crisis beyond that you haven't ever seen before. Do not let Charlie Kirk's death be weaponized by people who won't even stand for free speech. I am the left. Thousands of likes as a liberal condemning the violence. Okay. Hutch goes, the worst, most powerful people in the world seem to be dead set on making the situation exponentially worse. If they won't leave us in peace, then our choice is to fight or die. That's what Elon's putting out. He's probably on the same ketamine that Elon's on. They all do the same guys. Remember when Joe Rogan talked about ivermectin, or Trump did, then they all started taking ivermectin. I've had people tell me they're on ketamine. Probably because Elon is, and that's how they are. That's how they work. Elon on ketamine, Elon based. I do ketamine too. Same crowd that did ivermectin. There is no they doing these acts of political violence. It's individual actors making horrible decisions. It's people across the political spectrum. Very oftentimes, the perpetrator has incoherent politics or is clearly insane and not motivated by politics at all. I have to agree with Hassan on this one. Hassan just put this out. This is all but a fraction of Charlie Kirk's honest perspective. He was quite proud of his positions. He defended them vociferously. I mean, I even had people say that they loved what Charlie had to say. Why, when I post his own words without adding anything or taking anything away from them, is that what is happening? If you loved his words, then you should love what you're hearing then. It just sounds bad when you're not like in your little safe space bubble of like hate. And then when you watch someone else like me who's not agreeing with you on anything, and then you watch it through my lens and our lens from the outside, it looks fucked, doesn't it? And then you have emotional confusion, and then you don't know what to do with that. And so then you just blame me for it, for posting Charlie Kirk's own words, because you're emotionally confused and you don't know where to put it. Put it into something productive. Put it into something you can get something out of it. Like, take your shit and do it, make a hobby out of it or something. Don't take it out on me because I'm posting Charlie Kirk's direct words that he put out into the ether on a daily basis. So I'd have to, finally, a post I agree with Hassan. But that's the shit I was hit with today. Shameful from the New York Times orbit of Charlie Kirk. Mr. Kirk was so vocal in his willingness to spread unsupported claims and outright lies. He said that the drug hydrochloroquine was 100. Oh, yeah, there you go. Weird. The ivermectin hydrochloroquine people. The horse shit. It's not horse shit. Or it's not horse paste. Stop lying. I call it horse paste because it makes you mad. I want you to know that. I'm calling it horse semen injection because it makes you mad. And treating the virus, which it's not, because you idiots were putting that shit into you and not the actual vaccine that Trump approved. I think you had probably a lot of people supporting. You know what? The one thing that Trump did that was actually good for the country, which was warp speed, the MAGA hated it. Holy. And Trump was proud of it. He's like, oh, wow, I actually did something. And he couldn't even be proud of it for that long because his base was just cooked. It is cooked. Twitter temporarily barred him in early 2020, but the move only added to his notoriety and seemed to support his claim that he was being muzzled by a liberal elite. Oh, so you got to do the prophesizing. You got to prophesize it. when you say the most hateful things on a daily basis, and then you're like flirting with community guidelines, and then you say they're gonna come for me, and then you're taken down, and then all your followers will do Pikachu shocked face. He said the thing, and then it happened. But as like the influencer and someone with a platform, you know damn well that you can't say certain things on certain platforms. And there's going to be community guidelines. And if you outright lie, oh, that's a little less now. Yeah, MAGA, I mean, you got that out. You can absolutely lie without anything happening now on social media and say whatever and not have your post. You get community noted, but even then you can cry about that and then have the note taken away. So the community note doesn't even last that long. Or we like hardly see them.
I'm pissed in my whole life.
Oh boy.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. And this murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving down a Provo right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it.
He's very upset. Saving that one. That one will be a good one later. That'll be a good one. Not right now. Not right now. Okay. Not right now. But that one, that one's gonna be in the docket for the future. That one will come in happy. So upset right now. Whenever when the pendulum swings back, that one's gonna be a good one. Save that one. Damn! Oh my God, brother! No way. This app is so cooked. 1.8 million views, 109,000 likes. You bet on whether or not Charlie Kirk would run for office. Got $50. Anyways, anything with the shooter still at large? Trump blames radical left. Yep, we know that. We saw it. It's an AI generated video, so that's also interesting. Nothing on the suspects. We got 11:30 p.m. here. Kind of browsing Elon's app with all the takes and postings, but we don't have a shooter. The shooter is still at large for Charlie Kirk. Why is this not why is there conservative postings right now asking about the shooter? At least 72 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on the strip since dawn today, including 53 in Gaza City, according to media sources on the ground. Not even a blip in Western media. I wonder why. Because the America's focused on America, usually. That to justify the fact that you can't pay attention to Gaza as well. It's just can we use some common sense for once? I wonder why. We had a school shooting today and a campus shooting today. Whether or not Charlie Kirk, he was a terrible political pundit. Regardless, though, there were still other kids there. What if the shooter did miss and shot a college student or whatever? For having gun violence crazy, and then you got people going, well, what about Gaza? Bro, what is that gonna do right now? Who are you gonna get to? You want people to support Gaza and doing that over, and they were doing that with Ukraine too. Let's not get that twisted. But if you really support Gaza, do not farm fucking events of other tragedies to bring people in to support Gaza. Do not do that. And if you ever have done that, never do that again. If that's what you need to do to bring attention to Gaza, then that's fucked, dude. Why aren't you, I don't know. I would never do that for. Yeah, let's see. Hey, wow, a lot of people are talking about Charlie Kirk today, and what about Ukraine? Huh? What about all the hundreds of people that are dying in Ukraine right now, which is facts. But is it really the time to do something like that, actually? I don't think so. I think there's a time to do that, like, all the time, but maybe not trying to like change the subject of like what people are focused on right now. Maybe use the time to like engage with people and what they're focused on, and then after like the news cycle ends, because this Charlie Kirk news cycle will end. It will. It likely will carry into some other shit that's about to happen, but it will end, and then you can use that opportunity to bring them into what you care about. Because like there's like there will be a downtime eventually here. It happens. Things go fast and then they slow down, and then things fast and then they slow down. So in the slowdown times, all the people you were fast with talking about how bad the murder of Charlie Kirk was, but you didn't agree with his politics, you could bring them into supporting Palestine or Ukraine or whatever it is, but don't take the tragedy and then flip it into, well, let's Gaza. What Gaza today though? All these people looking at Charlie Kirk, and that's so wrong. That is so wrong. That happened right away well, it happens all the time. Whenever I'm referring or talking about Ukraine on my Facebook or whatever, I get hit with the, I haven't seen you post about Gaza or whatever. And I like literally do. I do though. And we do all the time. Both on stream and postings, more than I have in the past lately, because I was reporting on the front lines of Ukraine and going there. AI generated video. Barack Obama, we don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially his wife Erica and their 2 young children. Democrats would not be referring to Republicans as evil, racist Nazis if that's not what they were engaging in and the rhetoric that they engage in. You had Elon Musk do the Sieg Heil on day 1 of like the presidency. What are we like? What is that? Like, we can do all the hateful stuff we want, but when you call it out, then you're the real person that's hateful. They haven't caught him yet because of budget cuts. Oof. I bet the Joe Biden's woke FBI would have found him by now. Brian with the receipts. This is the kind of dangerous rhetoric Dean and Parker were pushing about Charlie Kirk. They called him an extremist. Screen grabs from their Unfuck America Tour website. The website was conveniently been taken down and now gives a 404 error. Probably because they don't want to add to the rhetoric that you fucks are looking for. Probably because they're smart and are like, yeah, actually, we need to take the temperature down, actually. So let's not even put anything, not have anything up. Let's not have that up right now, because people are looking for it and they're going to use it as an excuse to commit violence. Maybe that. What the for this is for start the most Connor O'Malley video ever.
It's your boy out on TikTok. There was just a gunshot at Charlie Kirk. We're in Utah. There's a gunfire. This is not a joke. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. It's your boy Elder TikTok. There was just a gunfire.
This is the generation that Charlie Kirk is influencing. This guy should be taken down from. He can't though on TikTok, but this is anything for views. We're out here at the school shooting. Jesus Christ. Literally people are, I'm not playing because people are running and screaming. And he's out there like, hey, it's your boy. Just out here. Charlie Kirk dead. Like, that's the generation that Charlie Kirk is cooking right now. And that's why they're like that. Jesus, dude. Deeply disturbing rhetoric spreading from MAGA influential figures, including the President of the United States and owner of this website. They have no idea who the shooter is, and many of these same people mock Democrats when they were victims of political violence in the past. In moments like this, we should be lowering the temperature and finding our shared humanity, not feeling more hatred and violence. And that's actually a good... I'll make a post about that tomorrow when I can form some better thoughts around it. This is a good picture though, right here, of all of the tweets of it. They've declared war. This is war. Pekka says they will now try and suppress or even ban the Democratic Party. This is what Putin and Siloviki did in Russia, Lukashenko in Belarus, and Ivanishvili in Georgia. My buddy's trying to hit me up for the Vikings game on Sunday, man. I don't even... I think it'll at least be like a McCarthyism. Jesus. Holy late night, Jesus. Holy. What can men do against such reckless hate? Play 2K. I don't know. By the way, we're going to ignore the fact this is very clearly AI. That's not being talked about by anyone. Well, except for now polling USA. I'm putting it out there. Everything is so off.
At the
movement and everything. You said you better hire bodyguards and carry a weapon because I'm not worried about your safety. I'm not a political influencer. I guess it's like whoever's, I'm not going out and speaking to people and telling them how to live their life. I'm recovering current events. So I guess, yeah. And also I've been out there during a shooting. I mean, do you guys, Kyle Rittenhouse? Hello? Wisconsin, Kenosha? The shots are like right next to us. That's like what started that PTSD dream I have. It's definitely going to happen again. But I mean, yeah, people probably don't like me because of what I say on YouTube, but I'm not out here really influencing like that. So I don't think I'm going to really have that much pull or whatever anyways. It's almost like the escalation was the plan. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. It's been like a slow build. If we don't have a shooter by tomorrow, chat, I'm saying what I want. FBI urges anyone with photos and videos to share. Is this the same old post from that we've read? Yeah, from now over 2 hours ago. 2.5 hours ago. They need your help to find the shooter, guys. He just got away during broad daylight, in Utah, by the way. So, yeah, something ain't right with this. I said that when we were going over it earlier today. That's why I'm up with it still. That's why I'm live right now with it. Just like with the shooter in Minneapolis, something wasn't right. That was a dark stream, but we had to go into it deeper, and we're not getting anything right now. And the longer that this goes, and the more that we're seeing, we need your help. Like, what do you mean you need your help? It really does feel like the administration is like set with like especially if Trump brings up Charlie Kirk during 9/11 tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. Well, Stan, so let's be clear. These are calls for mass political violence. They are not really related to Kirk's assassination, about which nothing is known. It is people who have been looking for reason to call for Democrats to be killed and their cities bombed and found a pretext. You'll never guess which Minnesota news outlet decided to write a hit piece on Charlie Kirk today. Charlie Kirk was slated to come to the University of Minnesota in 12 days. The conservative activist killed Wednesday had criticized Minneapolis mayor candidate Omar Fateh and was slated to bring his America tour here. Is the in the article? Calling out calling out what he said is wrong? So you can be on the right wing, say whatever the fuck you want, and if someone goes, "Hey, this person said these hateful words," you can go, "Wow. Wow. What are you sick? You have a mental health issue. This is so messed up. Can't believe you would just say exactly what Charlie Kirk would say. Wow." Jeez. Yeah, what the heck is happening here? Okay. I don't like Gen Z to influencers exist. Not my generation, so. Watch Charlie Kirk viciously murdered by an any means necessary socialist. Walter Hudson. He's a state representative from Minnesota, my home state. 21-minute video.
We watched Charlie Kirk be gunned down, and we saw it in real time. Absolutely gruesome footage from multiple angles. And I, like so many others, am absolutely reeling from words don't do it justice. Tragedy, atrocity, murder, assassination, all apply. None are adequate to describe what we witnessed today. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about. This guy was 31 years old. 31. 2 small children. When I was 31 years old, I had 1 child at that time. Brand new baby boy. And I had done nothing of any significance with my life. Significance beyond family, right? I worked, I paid my bills,
Okay, so Charlie, you were a skill issue. Charlie did better than you. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, Charlie had a better start than you did.
Supported my wife through graduate school, but that was about it. Little podcasting.
I was Charlie Kirk is God. I'm not. I am servant. He is God. Is this what we're doing? Is this what this message is?
A little blogging. Nothing to speak of. Nothing that...
I am nothing compared to Charlie Kirk.
...a mark. This guy, Charlie Kirk, in his 31 years on this planet...
accomplished so much more than me and did so much more right-wing politics than I could because I'm just a Minnesota representative that, honestly, they're nothing in Minnesota. The Republican Party is dead here, thankfully. So I got to go be a politician in Minnesota. in a minority party, and I couldn't be as good as Charlie. Charlie has hair, even though I don't know, there wasn't a whole lot left, but he had hair. I want to see the rest of that guy do agitprop. Yes, I see the right calling for civil war. It's what they do. Don't take the bait. 2, that wound wasn't survival. Okay, that was during the shooting, yeah. Damn. Okay. Well, Xbox said we can play games longer tonight. I wasn't aware of Xbox's game. Why do we all live in a Black Mirror episode? I mean, that's Black Mirror sucks now, so we can't use that reference anymore. Let's be Black Mirror sucks now. It ain't the same. If you've actually watched Black Mirror from the beginning, the new episodes are ass, dog shit, dog shit, actual bad for the past like 2 seasons actually. In my opinion, not the same Black Mirror that we've had. I think what was the one? There was like one interesting new episode, but the newer ones are just not even. The writing is different. Okay, it's from a pastor, James Tallarico, Texas State Representative. Oh, never mind, not a pastor. Sorry, when they say things like he was a child of God, I think you're a pastor.
Earlier today, Republican activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. I disagreed with Charlie Kirk on almost every political issue, but Charlie Kirk was a child of God. He was our sibling.
Oh, he is a pastor too?
Brother.
Okay.
He was a human being endowed with infinite worth and entitled to unconditional love. Now his wife is left without a husband, and his children are left without a father. This latest political assassination comes just 3 months after the Democratic Speaker of the Minnesota State House was shot and killed in her home. Political violence has no place in America. My faith, the faith I shared with Charlie Kirk, teaches me to love my neighbors as myself.
You want to? I mean, these are all good messages, right? But we don't know who the shooter is. What the shooter could not. I mean, we're like assuming. We're still like even in like the response to it to try to be nice, and I understand that. We're assuming that it's a politically motivated assassination or a murder. Who is the shooter? Where are they? What was their cause to kill Charlie Kirk yesterday? Was it because of? Charlie Kirk had a range of opinions that could have made somebody mad, that caused to go out there, not someone on the left, not just someone possibly on the left. But he's pretty, bro. You got let's just call it spade a spade. He was well connected to Israel. And you got a lot of like people on that side too that hate Israel. I don't like Netanyahu and the government of Israel and the Zionism. I don't like that. But the Israeli people, I don't, unless they're like full-throated fascists. I mean, I have no problem with them or the Jewish faith. I have all my criticisms are solely within Netanyahu and Zionists and the Likud of Netanyahu, which is his political party, and their imperialism. But you got like a lot of extremists on that side that like hate Jewish people just for being Jewish, and Charlie Kirk was connected pretty well to the government and Netanyahu. So again, I'm just because we don't have a shooter. It's almost midnight, and I'm here just trying to put it together for you. I want to know who the shooter was. I want to know who it is and their motivations into doing this. You said criticism of Israel as a nation state is not anti-Semitism. No, it's not. Anybody that says that's just purposely lying. Like if you have like if you don't support Netanyahu and Zionism, that is not being anti-Semitic. They try to make that a thing. They still do. I shouldn't say they try to. It's still a thing. Like you get called anti-Semitic if you just criticize Netanyahu. The increasingly polarized and often extreme reactions in American society to recent events suggest that large-scale politically motivated violence may be the only matter of time. For now, it is difficult to see much common ground between the two parties. There's not even what party, dude. If anything, let's be honest. Can we just be honest? All of the people directly connected to Trump and the Trump administration have pushed out the lie. And they are the one that is full on going into this was a Democrat that did this. We're like just giving the assumption right away to that this was a politically motivated murder. We're like just giving that. That's just like what it is, I guess. Before we get any facts at all still. Kash Patel should be fired and replaced with someone who will work at his desk in a crisis instead of twice in one day, falsely claiming he caught the shooter because he can't go another minute without an attaboy. Follow, repost. The same, especially if like you voted for this this regime. And especially since like Kash Patel was also a podcaster to influencer. That's like where he is. That's what he was doing before he became the FBI director. He was a MAGA influencer. And he said he was going to get to the bottom of the swamp and give you the Epstein files. And they were going to delete the FBI building. All the shit that MAGA was like, oh, fuck yeah, this guy is so based. Oh my God. Who's this guy? And then he's in there and he's doing nothing of that. He's doing nothing. So I don't know if you voted him in there for Kash Patel and the rest of the MAGA crowd. I don't know, like, it wasn't enough for the leaked signal chats for the Secretary of War. And then you got the FBI director saying they have the suspect, but they don't. Because they don't. Let's just check. Maybe there's a live update right now. Nope, still nothing. Yeah, still nothing. That should trouble everyone. Obviously, anyone like listen. The reason why I'm interested in, I'm not deleting what you guys feel. Like a lot of you guys are commenting how you feel about Charlie, and I hope that by me not deleting how you feel allows you to give the space to say what you want. But I don't, I'm not. I'm more interested in figuring out who did this. Charlie made his claims every day, and I disagreed with him every day. Well, not him literally specifically, but what he would put out there, I would argue against other things we would see on the internet because his takes would match up with a lot of other people. So it wasn't necessarily him. If anything, too, I still remember Charlie Kirk actually gave an interview to Mercado Media. And I was mad we couldn't get inside of the DNC. In 2024, we went out and found him, and I talked to him. Yeah, I started interviewing people outside of the DNC. When was it? Really, this is the Democratic National Convention. I've been doing a bunch.
What's the name of that movie, Chad?
Where am I here? What was I doing? I'm in the park, okay? When did I talk to him? I don't think it was this day. Or it wasn't that stream. Hiram was out there. It wasn't this stream either. Oops. It was the first day? I remember some of this stuff now. That was at nighttime. Yeah, it was nuts. Nighttime.
So, the history of America today is connected to the history that is taking place today in Gaza.
This was no, this is when the police were out there. When was that? It was when we were just standing outside, right outside the DNC. I feel like it was.
Can't be in this neutral zone
Okay,
here.
copy that. We're moving. I don't know when it was now, y'all. My bad. But anyways, I'll try to find it and play it. But I'd asked him what he was doing at the DNC. Because the DNC was just having all types of, it was a shit show. This should have been this should have been the sign that it was GG's, to be honest, but I was just not paying attention. There's Amanda. Amanda's going to be in New York tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Oh, yep. There he is. The Kirk, he's interesting. So he's here just to see what's happening. So he can get into the Democrat National Convention. I have no idea. Oh, you have Nick Shirley. Is that Nick Shirley right next to me too? Golly. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of his game yet at the time. Or maybe, I don't know. No, I wasn't. Before he went to Ukraine. That's Nick Shirley right there.
Big back to the ground game for sure. It's going to come down to like. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I don't. So, just message me. I'll tag you.
No, you're all good.
Which video did I use?
The two girls yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was really great.
What are the biggest differences between the Republican National Convention and the Democrat National Convention you've noticed so far?
It's a much sadder group of people, for sure. Yeah.
How are they sadder?
I mean, it just is obvious that this is the most important thing in their life. That it's like political engagement, political involvement. I mean, it's fine, it's an important part, but I don't think these people necessarily have strong families or a belief in the divine or a belief in God. I think it's really tragic and sad.
Is that the most important noticeable difference you see between this and...
Well, our convention's better run, but okay. We don't go 90 minutes overtime, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any expectations you have, or what are your goals for being at the Democrat National Convention?
Just here to learn. We're going to meet as many people as possible. Have some conversations, chat with some folks, and that's what it's all about.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
That's how I dealt with Charlie Kirk personally. Asked him what he was doing. I have my personal opinions about him and what he has to say, like about the internet, on the internet. But when I'm doing my journalism shit, I got to put that away just to ask him what the fuck he's doing out there, right? Because it's interesting to me that one of the biggest MAGA influencers was at the Democratic National Convention, and was like, and then like they had bigger attention at the MAGA influencers going into the DNC than like any. Like Hassan had his little box in there, but then like lost it, I guess, because he was like shitting on the DNC in the DNC. So they like removed him after a while. But like beyond Hassan, it was like a bunch of right-wing influencers like all over it. And then the main energy of like everything was outside with it was such a shit show. This whole thing should have told me what was going on, dude. But he gave an interview. Talked to me. Gave his take, disagree clearly. You can see my face. Yeah, but it's tough when you're in person though. You got to just sit there and ask them and bite your tongue because I'm not there to debate Charlie Kirk. I'm there to report on the DNC and what's happening out there. So it would be kind of wrong for me to start debating him right there, I think, at least in my opinion. You can do that. People do that with their media, but it's not the time, I think. Like if I were to set up a debate with Charlie Kirk, then that's different. Oh, if I were to have to set up a debate with Charlie Kirk, then that would have been different. But I'm not there. I'm just there to figure out why, or him. I think he wasn't the only one I interviewed. I interviewed a few other people that day. Watching him walk in. But yeah, we had actually a one-on-one with Charlie Kirk. He would destroy me in a debate. Well, you can. I guess we'll never find out. Not a debate person though, but the debates I have been in, I've like almost won and definitely won. So I know we don't care about the Epstein stuff anymore, but is there at least going to be any accountability for FBI Director Cash lying to the American public about having a shooter in custody? Because also I think a lot of people that were following this story early yesterday, they literally left it. And because it's a lot to take in, a lot of traumatic information. So they're probably they're like, oh, there's a suspect in custody. It's got to be a leftist. And then they are doing their thing. So who knows if even after Kash Patel put this out, let me see, 29 million views, 243,000 likes. And then the correction, the suspect in custody has been released. And then we need your help. Yeah, they've been released. That's the main focus of the stream in general was the shooters, the shooter, and them being still at large. We don't have any information.
We start tonight with new developments in the shooting death of political activist Charlie Kirk. The FBI announcing just hours ago the person of interest they had in custody has been released. Police now conducting an all-out manhunt for the shooter.
A new video shows the chaotic aftermath of that shooting on the Utah Valley University campus. And this video shows the
Please, hold on. Y'all aren't really going to... Okay.
But witnesses say the bullet hit him in the neck. Late tonight, police say they believe the shooter fired from the roof of a building in what they're calling a targeted attack.
President Trump announcing tonight that Kirk's death earlier today, also posting on video on social media.
An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
Kirk grew up in the northwest suburbs, and tonight those who knew him are remembering him.
But this violent incident also sparking another conversation about the political violence our country has seen in recent years. ABC 7's Eric Hong in studio with us tonight after speaking with someone who knew Kirk in the early days of his political activism. Eric?
Robin Sherrill, before Charlie Kirk became a star in conservative politics, he was an outspoken teenager who grew up in Arlington Heights and Prospect Heights. He volunteered for local campaigns and found support among suburban Republicans who saw his potential to be a national figure. At a young age, Charlie Kirk impressed others with his tireless work ethic and ability to connect.
Big plans, big vision, but willing to back it up by putting in the time.
Marco Sukovich of Lincolnshire worked with Kirk when his now powerhouse political organization, Turning Point USA, was in its infancy, operating out of a garage below this one-room office in Lamont. Around 2013, along with fellow young people who'd volunteered for the campaign of suburban Congressman Bob Dole, Kirk sought to engage young people.
A generation that kind of had really no one on the conservative side or on the center right communicating to them in any kind of
center right. Charlie Kirk was not center right at all. So they're even lying about Charlie Kirk.
Effective way.
Kirk graduated from Wheeling High School, District 214, saying Charlie will.
And the idea that they say like in that everything was. 2013, 24. I was easily right wing as a kid. Easily.
always remain part of our community. We are deeply saddened by his passing. Cook County Republican Party Chair Aaron Del Mar says he first met Kirk when the young conservative was in high school.
I just thought, hey, this is a kind of a cool kid, a kind of go-getter. It's really shocking because I know Charlie not from Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels, but I know Charlie the person. I know his family. I've had to spend a lot of time with him, and he's always just been a really good guy.
Though Kirk's views often angered many on the left, his death drawing universal outrage. Former President Barack Obama writing, "This kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy."
Political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. It's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it.
Northwestern University professor Eric Nisbet has authored papers on political discourse and divides and fears political violence has been normalized.
I think it's polarization and dehumanization, right? Our political rhetoric is not only about our political differences nowadays, but it's about dehumanizing the other where they're less than human.
Kirk leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. He was living in Arizona, but friends say he remained connected to the Chicago area. Cheryl.
Eric, thank you for that report. The president tonight blaming the shooting on rhetoric from what he calls the radical left. As Eric did mention tonight, we have seen a series of acts of violence recently targeting people across the political spectrum. Last summer and fall, there were 2 assassination attempts.
By the way, you saw what happened to Charlie today when he was shot where he was shot. You're telling me that bullet does not just like go through the earlobe and like that's it. That his ear is connected to his fucking neck. If Trump was really shot like that, it would have been like Charlie Kirk today. Anyways, that's a whole other topic though.
On President Trump while he was running for re-election. Last fall, then Vice President Harris's campaign office in Arizona was shot at 3 times over the span of a month. And then in April of this year, the Pennsylvania governor's mansion was torched. Then in May, 2 Israeli embassy workers were shot and killed in D.C. Less than 2 weeks later, a dozen people were injured in a flame-throwing attack at a pro-Israel demonstration in Colorado. Then in June, a Democratic Minnesota state representative and her husband were murdered. A Democratic state senator was shot and injured. And just last month, hundreds of rounds were fired at the CDC headquarters in Atlanta as a police officer died in that incident. All 8 of these incidents happening in the past 14 months. 5 were in the last 5 months.
Are we better off than we were 6, 7, what is it now, 7 months ago? Whatever they're saying is. Oof. Signing Israeli. Oh, man. I literally think that's what most people are doing, Joe Walsh. It's almost like you're talking at the very rhetoric that the MAGA is putting out that you say you left. You ever notice that people write posts at like a ghost? Like, who is this a subtweet? Is this a subtweet? Wick says, we don't know who killed Kirk. We don't know why. Yet you'd never guess that from reading the thousands of accounts calling for war with liberals and the left. Exactly. Emotionally lashing out prior to having the facts is giving into rage and helps nothing and no one. I agree. CNN has a video. Who is Charlie Kirk, or who was he? There's a lot of people like aren't in politics like we are, or like news. So maybe they'd never like heard of Charlie Kirk before today. Which, if you're all invested in news and updates, you're like, how could that be possible? But it's possible.
Privilege is a racist myth that is rooted in bigotry.
What is?
White privilege is a racist myth that is rooted in bigotry, trying to classify people based on their skin color. If you are a racist, you have something to apologize for. If you're a white person who is not a racist, you have nothing to apologize for.
And then who who is demanding apologies for being white? Who's saying that you need to apologize to someone for being white? That only these people say that. Only these people say that they say that. Who is they? The ghost. The subtweet. It's a subtweet.
I do think that there is a direct correlation between someone's testosterone and their politics. I would love to have a study done on this. On young men, the lower their testosterone, the more likely they are to be Democratic. Well, free speech is
The lower testosterone means the more likely they are to be.
our birthright as Americans. When you have free speech, we're going to get closer to the truth, closer to the best way to govern, closer to the best polity for the country. The influence of DEI have actually inverted the piety away from the promise of what MLK said.
So that's chat. That's Charlie Kirk. There ain't nothing alpha about being what all the rhetoric Charlie Kirk would put out into the ether. Nothing alpha about that at all. The latest on the ground in Utah for the manhunt.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. I appreciate it. I'm outside Utah Valley University. I just got here a little while ago. This is where Charlie Kirk was assassinated today. And there is a manhunt. There's a massive manhunt happening in this area near the university, and really,
like, honestly, what? Tell me, like, we can talk about it now. It's 12:14 in the morning, and we can't sleep anyways. What was Charlie Kirk's legacy? Really? What is it? What is legacy is he leaving behind? The Turning Point USA he built? Probably. That will continue. But beyond that, I mean, if you're going off of his words, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be emotionally ugly, bad. You're gonna be like, this makes me sad because I have a different view of Charlie Kirk because of God and shit and traditional family or whatever. But then, like, when you just Charlie Kirk video play, and then Charlie Kirk speaking, that makes you mad because he's saying pretty hateful shit. And you're like, why are you playing the hateful words you said? Bro, why don't you play the nice things he would say or whatever? Like, what? Give me some nice things he would say. He would be able to engage in his rhetoric in a nice manner, or like a calm, demeaning manner. Is that the standard? I guess. Yeah. I mean, you can talk. Clearly, I was able to interview him, and he told me what he believed. Pretty ridiculous, but he can do it calmly.
all over Utah right now as they continue to search for a suspect. It's been very confusing on the law enforcement front, which I'm going to get into in a second.
His legacy is that he's a martyr for free speech, and that's sick. So his legacy is that he's a martyr. So we called it. Thank you. Keep chopping. Awesome.
There's been two potential.
If that's what you believe, then I bet you that's probably what we're gearing towards, guys. If the right wing in general is like already set on that there was a leftist shooter, he's a martyr for like free speech and the Constitution, highly likely that this was set up by the Trump administration, in my opinion, down the line, as long as we don't get facts for a while here. Until we get facts about the shooter, that's where I'm at with my brain on this whole event. That Charlie Kirk is a martyr, and he was killed for what he believes, but his own people did it, in my opinion. That's what I think right now. Got to realize Charlie Kirk was cooking. He had something going. He could have, honestly, he probably had his own power coming up. He had a big youth base that he probably could have been. He probably, the way he was going, could have had a position in the right-wing government, because he did. He had a big influence. The powers that be don't like that. You know, Charlie Kirk was a tool for the right, but beyond that, they probably don't want someone other than Trump and people connected to Trump rising in the GOP right now. Just telling y'all.
suspects that were reported about, and both of those did not pan out from what we are told. So the manhunt is very, very active still right now, not only here at the university, but really in the entire area. Although here at the university, I mean, there are so many police out here. I mean, you've got FBI, you've got Homeland Security, ATF, the local police, the university police, the state police. Basically where this happened, and I can't get to it right now, but you see this big building behind me. On the other side of that building, and I just walked over there.
Oh, it's a retarded conspiracy, but yet we watched George Floyd murdered, and Charlie Kirk said, nope, wasn't murdered. He overdosed. And like did that for weeks and weeks and weeks during when George Floyd was murdered. Whatever.
Yeah, they're not going to let me back in there now, though. Is the courtyard, sort of the amphitheater where Charlie Kirk was speaking, and it's awful. I looked through the windows. I went back there. And it's just, I mean, everything is still sort of left the way that it was. There's caution, there's, police tape up, but, you can tell people just ran for their lives because there's still backpacks everywhere and chairs. And I could see the tent where Charlie Kirk was speaking. And if you've seen the video, I mean, the video is just awful. But the tent is now on its side over there. And it's a terrible, terrible scene back there.
Yeah, he said, nah, man, if you're going to go for the next big thing that's going to challenge power, it would be Tucker Carlson. No, Tucker Carlson is taking himself out of the mainstream GOP. No. Tucker Carlson's a tool of the East now, of the Eastern world, of Russia, Iran, China. That's what Tucker Carlson's a tool for. He is not even going to do anything in the right wing anymore. He's actually done with it right now for now. He will still flirt with it like people. Everything like he just became a better paid Jackson Hinkle. That's like Tucker Carlson. He's a better paid, better funded Jackson Hinkle.
But in terms of what's developed today, and I'm going to get my former FBI agent friend on here in a minute to help explain some of this, but just to sort of walk.
Like there was a period where Tucker could have been, but he's destroyed that in the last 6 months easily.
Happened today. Charlie Kirk was here on campus. He was speaking. There was a shooter, a sniper that police say was up on the roof of one of the buildings out here. And there's video on social media where you can see him dressed in all dark clothing. And it seems like it was just one shot from what we can tell. Someone who was probably obviously trained, one shot and killed Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
What's confusing is initially there was this social media video of an older man who was
with Brian gonna say all the shit that we're thinking about. It's a lot of messages were put out right away, and we had video right away. We had Charlie Kirk's murder video in 3 seconds on Twitter, getting posted, and I had to be so careful earlier not to accidentally scroll and show the up close video. A lot of things are not still adding up as to how quick this was. The quick statement by Trump. He was the one that actually broke the news that Charlie was dead. It was posted by his team, but the one that broke it was Trump.
Taken into custody, who everyone thought was the suspect. He was apparently interviewed and making up some kind of story and was released. Or I'm not sure if he was released. He might still be in custody for lying to police, but he is not the shooting suspect. So then we were told that that the suspect was on the loose. Okay, manhunt. That was this afternoon. Then police have this press conference here in Utah where they're basically in the beginning of the press conference making it sound like this is still an active manhunt and there is no suspect.
And then Kash Patel tweeted that they had found him.
During the press conference, FBI Director Kash Patel tweets out that they have a subject in custody.
Brian Etten might be the only journalist that is on right-wing platforms that is worth a damn. I'm just being serious. Of all the right wing, because Brian Etten might not even be right wing, but he's on. He appears on right wing networks. He might be the only one that right wingers have that is truthful and goes to the scene and tells the truth, or at least tries to.
So then at the press conference, reporters start asking about that, and the governor says we do have a person of interest in custody, and we are questioning that person. but it was kind of the vibe at the press conference was different than the vibe of Kash Patel's tweet. Kash Patel's tweet made everybody seem to think that they got the guy. The vibe at the press conference I was getting was, wait a minute, they don't sound that confident.
Exactly. We were watching it, and like in live, you got to go back to my stream from earlier yesterday now. And we were juggling it. I'm like, wait, Kash Patel said that they have the suspect, and here at this press conference right now, they're saying they don't have anyone, and it's an active manhunt. Like, what's happening?
At the press conference that this is really over. Because they just, I don't know, there was just, you didn't get that vibe that we got the guy, everybody calm down. It was more of a vibe of, well, we're questioning someone. So they say they have a person of interest, they're questioning them, they say they don't believe that there's a second person involved. The police chief also said something that I really zeroed in on. He said, we have surveillance video from the campus, but he said, you know how surveillance video is, or something like that, making it sound like the surveillance video wasn't that good of quality.
Exactly. And why wouldn't it be? You see this campus?
Okay, so the press conference ends. We think they have a suspect in custody, although my spidey sense is still telling me there's something weird about all of this because they didn't.
I agree. Brian. It's weird. Shit ain't adding up. It ain't been adding up since right away. People, it's a very traumatic event, obviously. Watch, especially with the video, and you see Charlie Kirk and like getting murdered. Like that is very tough to watch regardless. I don't care who you are. Like it's tough for me at least still. And I'm not desensitized to that shit because I don't watch violent video all day long. Actually, I had to stop with Russia's invasion of Ukraine because I already knew what would happen. I'd be desensitized to violence like that. And it could get easy to do that. And watching people get blown up by FPVs all day long. Like you can do that if you want. I'm not doing that. So it's still like a very emotional, traumatic thing to like see, and like all the facts kind of get pushed to the side during that. And it's like, this is the time to be emotional instead of like fact find. And no, the people that are hoping that you're emotional right away are going to use that to inject lies into you right away. So that way you're already caught into what you think is already the truth before you actually get the truth. And we don't have that still on 9/11. The anniversary of 9/11 now, 2025, and we're talking about Charlie Kirk here tonight. We're trying to figure out where the shooter is. The shooter is still at large. The murder, the shooter on the roof that shot Charlie Kirk is still at large. Manhunt, but not really. Does it feel like the energy is really there for it though? Nope. I'm up with you guys, but in general, no one other than Brian now, because he just posted a video, that's why we're watching it, is talking. Who else is talking about the shooter? Like, does anyone care to find out the truth? I'm not feeling the energy. I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling people are stuck in what they want to believe, and they don't want the actual truth of Charlie Kirk's murder yesterday.
Didn't sound that confident despite the Kash Patel tweet. And then it comes out that there is no suspect in custody. They have released the person of interest they were talking to, who apparently is not involved. At least that's what it seems like, because they released the person. And now we're back at square one with an active manhunt. So as of right now, no suspect in custody here in Utah for the shooting of Charlie Kirk. You have to wonder how much time was wasted. I mean, hopefully they were still investigating during all of this, but if they actually thought the first guy was the person, and then hours later the second person they had in custody was the person, they could be way behind. And this part of the country, I mean, it's rural out here. You've got mountains all around, a lot of places that someone could be hiding right now.
A red state? Are you talking about a red state? Yeah, they don't have shit. Internet sucks. Infrastructure's falling apart. Well, let's send the military into the blue cities and the liberals and the blah 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 blah, the leftists and blah blah blah. But you ain't got basic security cameras there at this high tech looking university in Utah.
Now, so we don't know what they know. It's interesting that. I think it's interesting, just having covered a lot of these. Normally, if they have a good quality surveillance picture, they will put it out to us so that we can put it out. The media can put it out, and people can help with the investigation if they've seen this person or whatever. That hasn't happened.
That's weird, isn't it?
So
isn't that weird?
A, they either don't have a good picture because, again, at the press conference, the police chief made it sound like the security footage was not very good quality, or B, they have more information than they're letting on and they don't really need the media's help right now.
Because it ain't gonna fit the narrative. They probably got a military looking motherfucker that was up there in all black. They looked like they were in all black. That can clearly fire a long rifle. Not a left-wing little political activist that was engaged in this.
In the building, again, when I went in, there's like a massive like operations center. I mean, there are so many police officers in there. They've got a whole sort of like a war room in there. So the investigation is obviously very, very active right now. There are, I just noticed, this is really sad, there are these photos, I mean, these, I don't know if you guys can see these. This camera's like got a mind of its own. There's these flowers that people have left here. Again, just a tragic day. I mean, for our country, regardless of what your political beliefs are, it's not good that this happens in our country. And
yeah, there's 2 videos. So that's he has you can listen to the rest of Brian's take overall, but he put out the information. He's out there on the scene. Yeah, 2 videos of the shooter. One from the sidewalk. You can see him laying down on the roof.
Getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying.
Huh.
He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying. Just.
Okay. So that's one. And then we have this one too. You can see the shooter on the rooftop running, but you got to look quick. I'll try to show you. I'll try to pause. And there. Okay. See where my cursor is circling? You got to look at the screen now. I know if you're listening, look at the screen quick. Okay, I'm circling where that figure is on the roof, and then they run to the left. And we kind of blink if you miss it, but you can see them running. You got to watch it. You see how they're moving. They run out of frame almost there. Now you can't see them because they ran behind that, and then they're back, and then they're behind the thing, and now they're back. It's like with the cloud. If you look at the cloud, you can see the silhouette right there. All right, I'm gonna play it now full speed. So we got 2 of them. I don't know if there's another video yet that's out there that shows the rooftop. I do not need to see. They deleted their post. I do not need to see any further angles of Charlie Kirk being murdered. Don't need that. Not relevant anymore. We need video of the shooter. He used AI so he could blame the avatar when things go south. Oh, by the way, yes, and the Trump message tonight was AI. Trump's video message he put out, AI.
Sahara. Charlie was a patriot. Sahara. Charlie was a patriot.
Sahara. It's not, it is. It's not, it might be. It just is. Unless you can lose an entire knuckle and finger. And then it gone. No more knuckle. AI shit. Using deep fakes today. That's why it's feeling it's absolutely feeding my bias on this, which would be that this was leaning towards something that is bigger than both sides. Actually, if there was something that organized this, or if it's a false flag, or if it's to make Charlie Kirk a martyr, or what. All of the above. Like, why wouldn't you make a normal statement? I got added to a nice little thread too, it looks like, about Charlie Kirk. See, so Charlie Kirk, one of the most prominent conservative activists and media personalities in the U.S., is shot dead at a rally. I gotta hold on. They play part of that video. I don't want to play it. Oh, okay. Charlie Kirk, one of the most prominent conservative activists and media personalities in the U.S., is shot dead at a rally when he was speaking about transgenders. He was a trusted ally of Trump and who said rhetoric of the radical left was responsible. Okay, and that's one of the distance videos. Some of Charlie Kirk's controversial positions that made him such a polarizing figure.
I hate being propagandized. And this weekend, there was an all-out propaganda campaign trying to make it seem as if Israel is intentionally starving the people of Gaza.
Oh, was he like a full... I realize I only know his like domestic political takes. Was he like a full-on Israel influencer or what?
I hate being lied to, especially by the media networks. They lied to us about COVID. They lied to us about the vaccines. They lied to us about open borders. They lied to us Hunter Biden laptop. Joining
Hunter Biden laptop was lie.
us now is Rabbi Wilicki, a great friend, and thank you so much for defending me the other day, Rabbi.
How often has this been happening? So let's get a take from the rabbi as to all of these lies I'm saying.
Wilicki, you're also the YouTube. People can find you on YouTube, Israel 365. Rabbi, let's just go through the facts here, and then let's get into the lies. What is the situation in Gaza as the truth would bear it out, not the New York Times propagandist network?
Well, if we're talking about the starvation lie, and thank you, Charlie, thank you for having me on to talk about this. It's so important because this is really pure propaganda, as you say. So since the beginning of the war, since October 7th, the whole issue of the food getting into Gaza and how much food is getting in has been weaponized by Hamas and by the whole pro-Hamas.
Not when we were literally watching the aid trucks getting all the food getting tossed by the Israeli protesters with their flags. What is this? How often does this happen? Is this like every day? This has to be like every day.
Crowd. And what they're doing most recently is claiming that there's a starvation crisis. The quantities of food, I'm not going to get into the weeds of the numbers, but
okay, I don't want to get into Israel-Palestine right now in the middle of this. Like I will be up until 5 a.m. But I can see, okay, I'm seeing more. Context is added now. Context added. Charlie Kirk was also one of the MAGA voices demanding the release of the controversial Epstein files. He was. Until they told him not to, and then I think Charlie Kirk was like, it's not even that big of a deal. I swear I gotta fact check that though.
I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything.
And
everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide. I think
he did though, didn't he? I know. I swear, like right before they were crafting the narrative about the files. Damn it, dude! I suck at saving videos. Oh, here you go. Yeah, I'm done talking about Epstein. I'm going to trust my friends in the government from Harry Sisson. Here it is.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
Was he more outward about the files in recent days? He wanted them, but this is what I heard last, was that he's like, yeah, the government's right. Listen to them. They're your friend. They're totally not pedophiles. I thought that was where we left it with. Did he make further statements about the Epstein files beyond that? Like, oh, they're actually true. Probably not. Something doesn't add up. Everything we know so far points to Charlie Kirk's assassin being a trained professional, not some unhinged amateur. Yes. I'm so glad that normal people exist still. Holy shit, bro. I need streams like this because it makes me feel normal and not like lost in this chaos. This isn't right. Something is wrong with this. Let's break this down. One shot, one kill from hundreds of yards away. That's sniper level precision. And also where he was hit. He was hit in an instant, like to almost as if like, you know, you're not going to have any facial, like there's nothing that in like the wake in his funeral that's going to happen. So that way there's no, like, it didn't like get shot in the head. He got shot in a very specific spot. It is like the artery right here. Who can do that? Even people that are out there with the rifle that practice can't make that shot and couldn't make that exact hit. From elevation too, that changes shit. I know that. I know when you're in an elevated position and they're lower, that changes things. How do you navigate? I don't even know how to navigate that one. I was into marksman in the military. I was a fucking truck driver. We still had to learn how to shoot, move, and communicate. We had to qualify at the range with iron sights. But we're laying down, it was like the targets are right in front of us, like, or in a distance. There was no elevation or any changes to it. But all of that changes. Like you have, it's not like if it would, the narratives would have been much harder to fight against today if it was like somebody walked up to him and shot him with a handgun out there, and it was like just angry shooting, and like was just like, I hate Charlie Kirk, and like just like shooting because they just hate him. That's not what happened today. That is not what happened today. He was like sniped in a very specific spot that killed him instantly. No attempt to spray bullets or take out multiple targets. One hit, one shot, one hit. The shooter fled immediately after confirming impact. No showboating, no manifesto, just extraction. And like if you are like a person that's like, oh, I gotta go, Charlie Kirk made me so mad, I gotta go shoot him. You're not like, you're like, after you do it, you're like probably like not, maybe you try to run or whatever, but you're not like immediately like that dude got up in that video that we're seeing, or dude or whoever that person is on the rooftop, like was leaving while people were still like getting down, like right after the shot. Look at, they took the shot and got up right away. Look at, they're still standing, like the crowd didn't react to the bullet hit yet, and the dude's up running already. Look at, they just getting down from hearing the gunfire from the shot, and they're already moving. That's how quick and professional whatever that marksman was. Not professional in the act that they did, and professional in the ability to use whatever rifle that they used. Shit is just not adding up, and it's been like this the whole time. Evaded law enforcement on site, local and federal. That takes planning, skill, and training. Because yeah, if you're just a regular motherfucker out here, you can think you can get away from the police, unless you are something else. If you're a regular motherfucker out here, you're not getting away from the police. They're getting you. The feds are getting you. You don't know how to navigate that. You don't know not to use your whatever, your debit cards, or you're gonna make some mistake right away, or you're not gonna get far enough, and like a live camera is gonna catch you or something. The fact that it's been 12 hours almost, and nothing, no images, no video, no weapon, like no, like this was the rifle that was used, or this was, what about the cartridge? What's going on? Anything? Do we get images of like the rooftop of like, this is where they were, this is where they were laying? What's happening? If this were some lone nut or a keyboard radical, we'd be seeing sloppier evidence trails. I agree. I'm retweeting that one. This has been on my mind for the past 3 hours, actually. I just didn't want to, I'm not trying to jump the gun in case, like, you know, but it ain't right now. Something ain't right. Something ain't right with this. Nothing. No images, no manifesto, no cartridge, no like anything, something. There was one mid-ass press conference in which the audio was fucking scuffed. AP was on the ground. Kash Patel, the FBI director, putting out two statements that aren't, we got the guy. The president of the United States putting out an AI generated video. What are we talking about? The same people that engage in the very, this is a false flag, and it wasn't for everything. You think they're above doing the thing that they've been projecting? Because they've been doing that, and Alex Jones and others have been doing that projection of like false flag mass shootings and school shootings to prep their audience for likely some shit like we have going on today, or with Donald Trump, personally, who I still think set up his assassination attempt, and it was staged. WWE's experience in the WWE. He's connected to that. They put on good shows for people. It's not, none of it's real. You're not watching people actually wrestle each other. They're putting on a show for you. It's actually a decent show. I'm not going to even shit on wrestling, except for like some of the, I mean, it's getting a little, we got a little MAGA over the years. But I mean, growing up though, it was fun to watch when I could. I wasn't like a big wrestling fan, but it still was entertaining. There's some good entertainment there. And he was like all up in that. He knows how to act. You know, he's in Hollywood, he's in show business. It ain't right. Something ain't right. That's all I know. And if you actually care about Charlie Kirk, if you're listening and you actually do, like, you loved Charlie Kirk and he was the greatest person for you ever, then you should care too, actually. And not just settle in your little left. If anything, have it be a little treat for you at the end. If you were right about it being a leftist lunatic, then boy, you get a reward at the end. Good job. You were right. Great. Gun violence is still bad. No matter who does it. I don't care who they are. Gun violence and murdering somebody for their opinions is bad. Okay. But at the very end, shouldn't you care about the investigation? And like, what if it isn't a left? What if it is? What if it was one of Charlie's, like, a government agency or something that killed Charlie Kirk? Or what if it was our government? Or what you know what I mean? What if it was something bigger than just a little leftist protester that you want to pin it on, or whatever, or a left-leaning person? What if? Because we don't have answers. Got the Economist article on the screen. What does it say? NATO should state all incursions in state front lines. In frontline states will be intercepted. It should deploy more aircraft on Baltic and Polish air policing missions. And it should strengthen Ukraine's ability to strike drone production facilities deep inside of Russia. You said, what if it's a dangerous and crazy X? They're not. They're going to slash your tires or throw your clothing outside. They're not going to pick up a high precision rifle and be able to snipe you from 200 yards. If you really think that that is an easy thing to do, even without an elevation, go try it once. Go to the range and go fire a rifle and see like how bad you are actually. Unless you just like have natural ability and you just grab that thing and you can just Kentucky windage it. You're like, I don't know, that's possible. But no, majority of people can't. You're not even likely going to hit the target. You're going to miss. You know what a zero means? You know what I mean? You know what that means? Planning had to go into that too. Like, you don't, like, the planning, they had to plan it out. Look, map it out. Look at the Google Earth or whatever they did. Okay, I can get up there. I got rooftop access from here. Okay, I'm gonna plan it out. I'm gonna have perfect access, because obviously Charlie was like posting when his shit was. So you could just be like, okay, he's gonna be speaking at the campus on this date. Okay, where's my potential assassin points that I have here? And these are probably too close. I'll be caught here. I'd definitely be caught here. There's no way to get out. This seems to be the only building that has both access to see him and ability to get out of here. Probably just ran over here. Maybe had his car parked or vehicle parked. That would have been caught on the camera though too. There's cameras on the corners of these buildings. Unless this university truly just does not have that, which would be wild. You got the right wing talking about like a police state, and they like that. And then in red states, you don't have any of the police state stuff. None of it that like that big cities have, and the surveillance and the facial recognition AI software that we're all getting now. It's so fun. We love that. The Patriot Act on steroids. Palantir in Utah. Hey, this is a hit. This is a hit on Charlie Kirk. At the very least. See, it's not like you know, on the opposite end, on tragedies like this where they deny that it even happened and then they add even more lies to it, right? This happened. Charlie was murdered, but it's important to know who did it and why. And this wasn't a ragtag person with that just didn't like Charlie Kirk. I don't like any of them. I have no interest in going out and killing anybody. I want to go back and forth on YouTube and then play video games afterwards. For Christ's sake. No normal person that like just lightly disagrees or even vehemently disagrees with Charlie Kirk is pulling this off. And if they are that unhinged and absolutely lunatic, they're doing it in a way that they can, like the easiest way, which would have been to run up with the handgun out of nowhere, and then they would have been tackled and found and right away. Obviously, the crowd would have grabbed him. Gun, he's got a gun. They would have grabbed him. But that's how I feel like it would have went. If you had somebody that was just like hated Charlie or right-wing influencers, they're going to run up to you like in an act of emotion, more so than professional precision. It'll be an act of psychosis, because it doesn't matter what your politics are. There's no justification to run up to anybody and murder them. So I just feel that if it were truly what the right and people were settled on with their narrative today, it would have been a far different murder than what we witnessed. It ain't adding up. What do you mean chat's not gonna like that? It's true. No matter who it was Hassan standing out there. You had a crazy right-wing dude out there. That would have been a different thing. Been out there with a different weapon and a handgun, likely. They're easier to access and far easier for anybody to use. With a handgun, it's like, oh, well, you gotta adjust in distances, but it's pretty point and shoot. With a rifle, it's different. A lot's different. Handguns are far easier to get, too. I think I said that. I'm repeating myself a little bit. Anonymous posted, it's all too professional. It's also interesting how all right-wing networks are all blaming Democrats simultaneously. How all right-wing politicians automatically have the same talking points about the left is at fault. Possible his own... Ooh. I don't know about that, to start a war part, but to add to their narrative... MAGA, you lib pansies don't know shit about guns. Also MAGA, a lib dressed in black assumed a prone position on a rooftop, fired a single shot and hit a moving person in the jugular from 550 feet away, quickly broke down the weapon and disappeared. Same shit with Biden. Biden is both old and doesn't know how to speak, but he's also the mastermind with Obama to help take down the whatever, whatever, you know? Biden is old. He shits himself. He can't speak. And he's just he's a corpse, but he's also an evil mastermind, genius. Obama, Nancy Pelosi, 5G weather machine orchestrator. George Soros too, somehow. That's literally the argument. Yeah, liberal. MAGA. Liberals don't own guns. Also MAGA. The shooter was a liberal. Now we're getting to the now we're getting here it is. It's almost 1 a.m. and now we're getting to where I'm at with this story. Where I'm at with it all. Between the entire thing not adding up, no shooter, no evidence of anything here. Just a bunch of narratives that was cooked up by partisan influencers in Donald Trump's orbit. And also an AI generated video from the president himself. From the Oval Office. I'm looking for other discrepancies in the video now. I'm looking for other things that are off.
I'm filled with.
The towel in the video is his hands. You got to look at his hands. The finger disappears. The more I look at this, the more I agree. It seemed weird first watch, but there's a glitch in so many weird little moments. The most reasonable explanation would be AI editor like CapCut that removes filler words, or the president authorized filming footage of him to make Hagen-style avatar to do addresses. But it raises so many concerns when you can't tell if a president released from the White House isn't really the president, like health concerns, authenticity, who is managing the message, etc. And it's not a good look. No, Biden did the auto pen. That's way worse. Biden had auto pen, so Trump can do AI generated videos of himself. Which every president's used the auto pen for their signature. Trump's up there signing useless executive orders that aren't going to go anywhere. Just to scare people. Oh, the high school shooter died. The shooter's dead and 2 other students are in critical condition. So we're getting an update on the... if you guys didn't know, we had a high school shooting too yesterday. In the middle of the Charlie Kirk campus shooting. So we had 2 school shootings yesterday. A student who authorities say opened fire at his Colorado high school, wounding 2 classmates and then turning the gun on himself has died. How come no political narratives here? Is the shooter trans? Is the shooter liberal? No, didn't even get into the news with the right wing because they're so focused on Charlie and making that one a thing. This one isn't even gonna get nothing probably, honestly. Oh, there was a school shooting. Thoughts and prayers. Dang. Oh, well, Charlie Kirk, though. And it's 9/11 now. The students were taken to the hospital in critical condition following the gunfire, including the suspected shooter, who was injured by a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the sheriff's office said. The shooter's office confirmed the suspect died in a post on social media Wednesday evening. Authorities have not publicly released his identity. One of the wounded students remained in critical condition and others listed in stable condition as of Wednesday evening, according to law enforcement officials. A 4th student was also transported to the hospital, but with unknown injury, authorities said earlier. In a statement, Colorado Governor Jared Polis said he was devastated by the shooting. My heart goes out to the victims and their families as they grapple with a senseless act of violence. After the shooting, the school was placed in a lockdown. Officials swept the campus as the scariest thing you can think could ever happen, said the sheriff's office spokesperson Jackie Kelly at an earlier news conference. Kelly said she could not find any other details about the shooter, including the suspect's age or gender. I don't know if our suspect is even old enough to drive. She said authorities were seeking a warrant for the student's home and locker. The sheriff's office said the suspect was armed with a revolver handgun. Wild.
Good friends, great shades, no hidden fees.
Oh, no hidden fees. Oh, it's just a, okay. Scary sound video. Okay. I thought that was a report. Sean Pinner also goes, that would be helpful, actually. A lot of veterans from Ukraine right now talking about how much this shot would have to, how much skill factors into executing the shot that the shooter did. Not the hardest either. Clear line of sight, elevated position, barely any wind, about 150 meters. Still, it takes someone who knows a bit about shooting to pull that off. They had to plan the clear line of sight. They had to map it out and figure out where the best position would be to take that shot and then escape quickly. Why did people decide that I should feel sorry about the fate of those who support and defend Russian terrorism and the genocide of my people? That's the one. Charlie Kirk was the most anti-Ukraine possible. Like, it was bad. Really bad. Really bad all around. Anyone know the details about the bodyguard? No. That's the other question, is what was the law enforcement doing? What was Charlie Kirk's security team doing? What was his... Okay, CNN investigates.
The kickoff for Charlie Kirk's 14-city tour was here in Orem, Utah, about 40 miles away from Salt Lake City at Utah Valley University. Thousands of people, mainly students, were gathering in a large open courtyard. Minutes before the shooting, video from Kirk's own X account shows an open space and a
like as a law enforcement agent, I've never trained in law enforcement, but as a veteran, speaking as a veteran myself, in this crowd, I'm already looking at the rooftops. I know where I know where the shooter was, but I'm still looking at the rooftops here. In any major crowd of people or whatever, I'm looking at the roof. I want to know where security cameras are. Because also, if like some shit happens, you got to run to a spot where you can be on camera, right? So they can get caught or whatever. That's an also important skill to know. Know where the cameras are at. Know who's on the rooftop, if any. Just looking at it. Where my exits are. What the quickest plan of action would be, actually, because I'm military trained though in my brain. Seemingly similar to the guy that made this shot, who would also have to be very trained to know all of that shit that regular people don't think about, or whatever, that most people don't think about. Look up. You don't have a law enforcement guy like these guys that are standing out here weren't like, what is that on the roof? Or hey, give me the binos quick. Let me see what's up there. That doesn't look right. If you got a kid with a cell phone on the sidewalk that can see something ain't right from a distance. This kid from way far over here was like, yeah, I saw something up there. That ain't right. And he's further away than the security is.
Can right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
He's further away here than Charlie Kirk is from the shooter.
So there's somebody on
and he can see that there's someone on the roof.
Just saying. He just ran from over.
Oh yeah, well now Charlie's not gonna. So Charlie wasn't like a politician, so he's not gonna have his own sharpshooters to like be counter snipers like a president would, or like a senator, or a major politician. But he's got a security detail, and the police are there. And you would think with the environment of mass shootings in America that just happen, and a large gathering of students, you'd want just a little extra security there, which they do. Charlie has his own, and the campus have security, and no one had binoculars to look and see, like, let me just do a security scan quick. Is that a thing in law enforcement? I don't know. I was never trained in law enforcement, thankfully. Holy, right? Boy. But in the military, like, you got to look at your 5s, 10s, and 25s. Like in my car, and there's zeros actually too. That zero is important. Like when you're in the vehicle, you don't get out of the vehicle until you look down. You look out 5 meters, you look out 10 meters, you look out even further. Just in case there's an IED out your fucking, your door or something else. You're looking at everything. You're always got to be on point when you're like military or law enforcement, I think you're supposed to. So I'm just like wondering what happened. How did you not see that there's a shooter up there? When your detail is looking straight ahead. Like the detail is looking directly where the shooter is perched up on. They would have been looking right at him. From this point, that's where you could see that corner of the building. Nobody was like, that's why is someone on the roof? Hold on. Charlie, we got to pull you for a sec. We got to figure out what's going on the rooftop over there really quick. Hold on.
Video from Kirk's own X account shows an open space and a barrier between the tent and the students, with multiple security guards standing at the fence line.
Yeah, what were they doing?
There were 6 campus police officers there as well.
And what were they doing?
Kirk was a rock star.
You have a guy looking right out right there. What were they looking at?
Kirk was a...
This guy is literally looking in the direction of where the shooter was. What are you looking at? The students in front of you? You're not looking like out and up and out and scanning your entire area? Like, because we had to do that when I was a security for the Wild. I mean, I was a security for the Minnesota Wild, and I did security for the Minnesota Golden Gophers football team. I wanted to be the Vikings, but I couldn't get into that one. So I did Wild and Gophers football. And in that, you gotta do the same thing. You gotta look up to the stands. You gotta look everywhere. You're not just looking like right in front of you. This guy, their security is literally looking out where the shooter was.
Rock star among young conservatives, largely because of events like this, meeting college students up close on.
He's got a guy right next to him, and then he has people out in where the crowd is.
Across the country. Police say roughly 3,000 people showed up for this one, all watching and listening as it happened. Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings.
Do you know how many? Which, what is that irony too, right? He was lying about mass shootings, blaming trans people and gangs for the results of the most shootings in the U.S., which isn't true.
Transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years.
Too many. Too many.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit.
Let me make sure. Hold on. I wouldn't think they would put the part, because you get shot pretty quickly after this. Okay, they pause it. I just want to make sure. Okay, they added it pretty good to respect the. Okay. Audio back up.
I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Kirk is rushed into an SUV and taken to the hospital. Panic crowds ran as police jumped in.
And let's be advised, UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at the Charlie Kirk event. We're getting several calls. We're trying to get more information.
In the scramble after Kirk was shot,
you can literally see the
taken from
the shooters
inside a building captures what appears to be someone running across a rooftop. That rooftop is this building, called the Losey Center, less than 200 yards away from the spot where Kirk was hit. If that runner was the shooter, he would have been positioned about here. From this shot, you can see the rooftop of the Losey building is pretty easy to access. It's connected to another building by an elevated walkway.
He didn't run that way.
You can see is only separated from the roof by a railing. Aerial footage after the shooting shows police tape on the roof of the Losey building. And at about 12:36 p.m., an officer describes a possible suspect.
He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle. Is on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black vest.
6 hours later, Utah Valley University issued an all clear, saying the threat is over. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old father of 2 young children, did not survive.
He didn't run. We only see him running left though, or running to where the rooftop.
The kickoff.
The low center.
200 yards away from the spot where Kirk was hit. If that runner was the shooter, he would have been positioned about here.
And no, it looks like the shooter is closer to the edge than where they put him. If you look at the video, he's closer to the edge. He's closer to the edge than that mark on the roof. I know what so CNN says he'd be about here, and that's not where he's at. He's literally like right here. He's like right there, and then he runs this way. CNN says he's about right here. He runs to that and goes behind it in the video. He literally runs from the corner. He's running from the corner of that building. But he's running this way though. Wouldn't he have, unless he was running this way to go this way. And it just goes off screen, but he was running in a pretty, he's running to this side of the building. I guess that would be the only way down, logically, right? That's the stairs do go right up to it. What a weird design. To have stairs.
From this shot, you can see the rooftop of the Losi building is pretty easy to access. It's connected to another building by an elevated walkway, which, as you can see, is only separated from the roof by a railing. Aerial footage after the shooting showed...
No, Adam. No, he was shot in the neck. There's a video I can't even play. It's so bad. No, you've seen the one from the distance, but there's one that's right. There's multiple that are right up close, and he's hit in the neck and blood is gushing out and he's dead. It's not one of the impact was from the immediate, like his body was hit and like had a sonic reaction from the bullet impact. He was killed. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. The interest this happened. It's not about whether or not Charlie Kirk was murdered. He was. It's who did it. 4 minutes ago, here at 1 a.m, manhunt continues for suspect in Charlie Kirk shooting. Here's what we know. So this is the very latest reporting. The shooter who killed prominent conservative activist Charlie Kirk remains at large after what police called a targeted attack on a Utah college campus. Only one person is believed to have been involved in the shooting, said Utah Governor Spencer Cox, who called Kirk's killing a political assassination. President Trump described Kirk's death as a dark day for America, as we saw in the AI video that they put out. Here's what you need to know about the killing of the Turning Point USA founder. It was a targeted attack. Kirk was fatally shot while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University, a public university in the city of Orem. The shooter fired once, according to Utah Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bo Mason, who said it was a targeted attack towards one individual. The department believes that the shooter fired from the roof of a building, as we've seen from the video. We know Kirk was shot while answering a question from an audience member about mass shootings. After he was hit, Kirk was taken by a private vehicle to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, where he died. The president expresses grief and anger, and anything that Trump's met both his truth. Like, let's be honest, both that AI generated video that they made, which tells you that all the emotion was taken out if they did an AI generated video of the president talking about Charlie Kirk's murder. And then also his Truth Social post seem pre-crafted. It doesn't seem like in the moment, like, I got to make a statement about one of our top influencers that helped me win the election. Where is Truth? So why is where is Truth Social not coming up now? I swear some of my Google searches aren't popping up anymore. Like, why is this happening? Why is when I type in Truth Social, I'm getting Wikipedia? Is Google fucked right now, or like what's happening? Why do I not get Truth Social? The one time I'm mad that I can't get on True Social. I tried Canva, it doesn't even pop. I think, is Canva popping back up again? There it is. Let me see if I can get it up here. TrueSocial.com. I'm not logged in though. No, I'm still logged in. I made a Truth Social Super Ultra Mega 5G so I can look at all this bullshit. Mark Harris of North Carolina on Fox News. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or has the heart of the youth of the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. The post is weird to me. I know Trump makes a lot of weird posts and weird statements, but what a way to, like, and you're the one that announces it, and then, like, there's nothing here that suggests Trump genuinely even care. Like, yeah, maybe that's just Trump, though. He doesn't give a fuck about anything. He doesn't. But even, like, his most loyal warriors, like Charlie, doesn't feel like a whole lot of emotion in here. Charlie is dead. Like, dang. I mean, his family was there, so they saw him get shot. Quick question. Why are a bunch of high-level Israeli government officials using Charlie Kirk's assassination to push Islamophobia? What? Is this Ben Gavir? What is this Nazi saying? The collusion between the global left and radical Islam is the greatest danger to humanity today. Charlie Kirk saw the danger and warned about it, but the bullets of the despicable murderer struck him. Thank you, Charlie, for your support of Israel and for your struggle for a better world. My condolences to the family, to his dear wife and children. Why is the Israeli government and you're making it about radical Islam? Wow. I didn't think of that one. My bad. Forgot about that one. The Islamic terrorist thing. Thought we were done with that one. I guess not. Israel's involved, so we're not. With the Post, at least. Remember when Rush Limbaugh died and the world seemed a little... Oh, reading the rest of I'm reading the rest of that one. Richard put out, fuck it. I'm happy to lose my entire follower base over this. Charlie Kirk literally spread Russian propaganda. What happened? Rewatch the security guard to Kirk's right. Which part? Oh, yeah. Bye, Hugh. When you get onto your Leroy Jenkins account, we'll ban that too. It's fine. Fuck it, I'm happy to lose my entire follower base over this. Charlie Kirk literally spread Russian propaganda at every turn. His aim was to convince you that millions of Ukrainians in occupied territory should be genocided. He was doing the same thing for the Palestine too, right? That they deserve it too.
I won't nitpick too much, but I will say, if you do go into the Oval Office, you should wear a suit and tie. That's my own personal perspective. I understand his country's at war. That's just a little bit of a nitpicking, I'll be honest. I think that if you go into the sacred, and I've had the honor to go in the Oval Office a couple times, I think you should dress up in a suit and tie. I think it's just a basic comment.
Watch The Bodyguard. Send me it on Discord. What are we looking? Tell me what we're looking for, and I'll pull it up. Go join my Discord server. Link is in the description. And you can share with me what you're trying to. What are we looking at? Which video? There you are, Leroy. Called it. Yep, that's huge, by the way, everybody. Hugh's alt account. Yeah, join my Discord. What do you guys want me to see there? Dude has been. Oh, yeah. Clock. The dude in white stands up above the guys making hand signals. Oh God, I gotta pause it because it might show the. Okay, good. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at. Oh fuck, man. Nah, I can't play this on stream. I mean, I don't know. Nah, I think we. Oh. Why are they circling the guy in the white T-shirt? Though I'm trying to see the guy behind him. Oh boy. It shows it, right? I can't play this on stream. I don't know. I think you're connecting. I mean, you know, you could just have been adjusting his sleeve. It is convenient. It is because he went to go. Oh boy. No, I don't think anything's there with that. So what I'm looking at here is you got. Okay, so I can play the still image here. But you got, so it goes like this, and then the guy will take his knuckles and he moves his knuckles, and then the bodyguard behind him grabs his arm, and then Charlie's like immediately shot and like blood is gushing, so I can't play it at all. But I don't know about that one yet. If you guys think it's a hand signal, I don't know. To me, it looks like he's just itching his arm.
But that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that Zelensky in that meeting, we believe, and I encourage you to watch all 40 minutes. You have, good. It started pretty tepid and then it heated up. And outside of Vice President Vance's back and forth on did you say thank you, there was this kind of insistence on Zelensky saying, no, we really don't want peace. We really don't, like, the idea of peace was almost a non-negotiable.
Yeah, it's in Discord.
I think he views it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine, please.
I feel like he views it as a surrender, and I think that's a fair position for him to take.
Yeah, well, so he has a choice. And America then has a choice. So Zelensky can keep on fighting. Here's some facts. The average age of a Ukrainian military member is 43 years old. They have basically destroyed the young men of their country. There's hundreds of thousands of young men that have died, millions that have fled their nation. The average age is 43. So they're doing conscripts of people in their late 40s and early 50s to go to the front lines. It's a meat grinder. So he can keep that going, but for what? To win back some land that you may or may not win.
Oh, that was his rhetoric about Ukraine, but worse in some cases. That was a light version. Light version. Yeah, the video that was tagged to me is in Discord if you guys want, but I don't think there's anything there with that yet. I would need stronger evidence. Oh, so you're telling me there were these counter protesters to Charlie that were just there chilling? Maybe.
There you go. If you wanted to know about my setup, that guy asked all the right questions.
That's your monitor, and this is this one your recorder. Is the SD in there or SD in here?
I can record to this, the SD in this, and stream at the same time.
Is there a view of the rooftop?
Yeah.
Just 2 days ago.
Okay.
What are they saying? Oops. Fuck.
Fair enough. If it were taken out of the womb, it'd be screaming. Would that be when life has begun?
I mean, I would say like I can't physically like conceive like a child in my own body, so I'm not gonna like put pressure on other people. They can like have their own opinions, and I'm not gonna force.
I mean, just for like biology reasons, for like we're a UVU here. So like, when would you consider that life begins?
I mean, we could argue semantics all day.
I'm just curious what your
Yeah, we
opinion
could say,
is.
what do you say a
You guys
genocide
said you
is?
disagree with Charlie, so I was wondering what your side.
Oh, so you're telling me that we have video of people that disagree with Charlie and they're at their site and they're doing this, but yet we had Donald Trump and other right-wing influencers immediately jumped that the shooter was left-wing opposed to Charlie, but we have video of those people that are opposed to Charlie just there amongst the crowd, just talking with what seems to be a streamer, asking about abortion questions.
My opinion is people should just have the freedom to do their own thing, especially when we don't have a defined thing. Because if you make rules without a thing that is defined, then that's when you get into issues, because you're controlling people's choices based on something that we're not 100% sure on. That's the whole point we're trying to make.
Fair enough. Can you hold up your signs, guys?
Yes, sir.
Don't legalize racism. What's that one mean?
It's based on the recent Supreme Court decision to allow people to be deported purely based on skin color, or even like a slight suspicion based on like speaking Spanish. Or
The Supreme Court said they could deport people based off their skin color?
You can.
Supreme Court said that this is grounds for.
Okay, so either way, clearly you got people that just disagree with Charlie Kirk on politics that are there. Oh boy. Like right there is when this shit goes south. They're all get down. We don't need to watch it. There's no angle. They can't see anything. Their trees are in the way. But the shooting has to happen right at that moment. There, the students are down. The trees are in the way. Can't see it. No. Oh boy, it had to have happened during the it happened while he was interviewing the protesters. They're all running right here. They're not even like they're just standing up there chilling. Is this a protest, really? Guy's got a sign that says "Don't legalize racism," and they're just like chilling up there. Is there any stream of the event that shows the rooftop? Zelensky's going to walk out of this war with Russia a billionaire. You watch. That was in 2023, y'all, when I was trying to alert my Ukraine audience that was definitely more conservative than I realized. It is what it is, but I was trying to warn everyone like, yo, hey, the MAGA right in America hates Ukraine. And then I was hit with, no, they don't. Stop being divisive. This is July in 2023. I was in Ukraine actually. I turned 30 in Ukraine on my 19th on July 19th, 2023. And I'm already in Ukraine during this time. Joe Biden allowed the Ukrainian government that we pay for to torture and kill Gonzalo Lira, an American citizen they were holding as a political prisoner. Why? Because he was critical of the Ukrainian government. Gonzalo Lira was taking video and posting video of where air defense systems were to try to help Russia target Ukrainian positions. That's what he was detained. And he likely died because of his smoking habit, and his health was just the worst. Maybe Wick. See if Wick will stop by. Check and see if there's any updates to the CNN report yet. Or any report. At least 200 people attend Scottsdale, Arizona vigil to honor Kirk. With moderate winds picking up, people clutched candles that wouldn't stay lit and waved little flags while reciting Catholic prayers and singing verses. God probably wouldn't allow the candles to stay lit. That's why. I don't want this blasphemy being spoken in his name. John Yep, president and CEO of Catholics for Catholics and a friend of Kirk's, was the only speaker at the vigil, which was also live streamed. He shared how he sent Kirk a text after learning of his passing today. I want you to know we're going to honor your blood and your sacrifice and your tears, Yep said. Your little tiny kids are going to know that when their dad was taken from this earth that we came here and prayed. Wow. I'm sure Charlie's kids, when they grow up, will look back and think, wow, that was so good. Good thing they held a prayer in Scottsdale. Charlie Kirk shooting. Trump blames radical left, but does not mention attacks on Democrats as search for suspect continues. That's the news. That's a good article right there. Even Biden did. Biden brought up old attacks on Republicans just to make it like, yo, we've had political violence on both sides. Not like not necessarily perpetuated onto each other. It's most of it's like from the right wing, and that's it. But in general, though, like political violence should not exist. So you got to like both sides that one for sure. I'm with that. I'm with both sidesing that political violence is no space in our in the government or in any type of political rhetoric. Charlie Kirk blames radical left political violence for killing of Charlie Kirk. Fails to mention killing a Democratic lawmaker in Minnesota. Of course. The novel, well, we watched it. I don't really know where you go from here when you got the president of the United States stoking the rhetoric, firing the flames of the hate that is irrelevant to the facts of who shot Charlie Kirk. The facts for who killed Charlie Kirk aren't adding up. You guys think by tomorrow they'll have a suspect? Whoever the shooter was, it had to be former military or trained. Lion-hearted friend of Israel. Israeli leaders mourn Kirk. Didn't Netanyahu post a tweet right away? Praying for Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking truth and defending freedom. A lion-hearted friend of Israel. He fought the lies and stood tall for Judeo-Christian civilization. I spoke to him only 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Sadly, that visit will not take place. We lost an incredible human being. His boundless pride in America and his valiant belief in free speech will leave a lasting impact. From Netanyahu. All right. Well, I think we're at the end of anything we can discuss beyond what I already have now for the past, well, we're at almost 4 hours. Holy. Well, the manhunt continues, y'all. There's no suspect. No suspect in custody. We're out here still. They're out there still. No accountability, nothing right now. But I can't sleep yet, so I actually will go to my gaming channel and do gaming now, and not say I'm doing gaming. We did no gaming. No gaming happened. It's gonna be basketball. I can't play a shooter game right now. I hope you understand. It will be NBA 2K26. Yep. Probably just like an hour or two, and then I'll fall asleep from physical exhaustion and have nightmares, so it'll be great. Why can't I schedule? What happened? Okay, it is. All right. All right, NBA 2K26. It's already scheduled. If you guys are wondering, come over to my gaming channel. You just got a coffee. I'm sorry. You can come and watch my gaming, but we'll be up later, so we'll be up all day probably covering this later on. But I need a little palate cleanse. We don't have time to do more Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but we started that yesterday. It's super good. The Legacy of the Forge. But I don't have time to get into that story right now. So I just kind of want to shoot around in a basketball game. So I got a good decent basketball player build in my player. So you guys come on over and check that out. But make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel with your notification bell turned on, so that way you guys get all the updates. Follow on Twitter, follow on Twitch, follow on Facebook, you guys. If you could, please do so. Hit that subscribe button. It's free to do. Make sure your notification bell is turned on. Hit that subscribe and make sure it's set to all here on that, so that way you get notified. If it's on personalized like that, you're not going to get all the notifications. It'll give you like one a week or so. It's so weird. I don't know why it's just not automatically like that, but your bell needs to be lit up. Okay? Make sure that it says all to make sure you get all your notifications. Thank you to everybody for supporting the stream. Everybody that's supporting Mercado Media and the reporting. I appreciate all of that. You guys are great. And I'll give you guys some more updates tomorrow. I wish I had better news for you today. But let me leave you with my final take, though. Overall, we've gone through over a lot of things. And I'm definitely more interested in the facts about who shot Charlie Kirk and giving the details around that than I am engaging in political rhetoric right now. So I said the Charlie Kirk assassination leaves more questions than answered. First, the FBI director said a suspect was in custody. Then local police said that wasn't true and the person was released. Now the shooter is still at large. No manhunt, no public warnings, no press conference laying out facts, just conflicting reports of the aftermath of a high-profile killing that shook a college campus and rattled the country. Whatever your politics, this is unsettling. How does someone assassinate a nationally known figure in broad daylight on camera and walk away with no clear explanation from law enforcement? We deserve transparency, and we deserve answers. All of us that have been subjected to this news today deserve that, whether you supported this guy or not. And then my take overall, like my take about the political violence is this. Regardless of who you support or oppose, no one deserves to die for their political beliefs. This was a violent and senseless act of murder. It's beyond civil discourse. It's pure tragedy. I stand against political violence no matter who the target is. My heart goes out to Charlie's family, especially his 2 little ones. That's the human cost here. Let's all commit to rejecting violence and political conflict always. Debate, disagree, but never resort to bloodshed. Okay, that's my take about political violence overall. But there's so many like things that we're talking about with this that I don't want that to get lost in the translation. It's fine to talk about Charlie's politics and what he was putting out there. That's fine. It's fine to call out the political violence. You should be doing that. And it's also fine to go into the details about who is the shooter, and we want to know the facts. And just labeling it lazy that, oh, some leftist had to have done this, so it was a leftist or whatever. That's lazy and misinformation and lies. And until we have a confirmation of like what the shooter was, what their motivations were, what we have nothing. We have nothing. You have a dead Charlie Kirk. So full condemnation of all political violence. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Right? We ain't going nowhere with news coverage. I'll be up. I promise you. I'm going to sleep like shit tonight, and then we'll be back. Come on over to Mercado Gaming for a while. Come check out what we got going on over there. I'll talk to you guys. Answer some more questions. If you play 2K, if you're up, maybe we can get a game in. I'm playing my player though. So if you have a my player that wants to play in my grind, so come and check that out too, guys. Just other ways to try to get your mind away from the chaos for a little while, at least until the next one. All right, guys, like the stream, subscribe. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everybody that supports, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
You got me dancing, dancing, shaking, praise. In the party, bottle top girl. We spend the money, bottle top girl. You got me dancing, dancing, shaking, praise.